In April, Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban was re-elected on the back of a campaign defined by the vilification of billionaire philanthropist George Soros. The elections are over, however, Orban remains relentless in his attacks. In 1991, Soros founded a leading grad school in Budapest known as Central European University, CEU. As a result of tough Hungarian laws targeting the institution, the duly accredited university will have to shift its U.S. accredited programs to Vienna next year. CEU is the second Soros-backed institution to be forced out of Hungary this year as a result of Orban's obsessive campaigning against the Hungarian-American philanthropists.
That wouldn't make sense, but I was taught that way, you know? He wants to see it.
What's up, guys? Dick Liberty here, coming at you. We're live. We're glad to see you. I want to say welcome to Joseph Jones and to Jennifer. Glad you're joining us tonight. There's Crazy Chris with us. We've had a great week this past week, man. Have we not, dude?
It's been crazy.
What?
Seriously.
Dude, okay. So, starting out, welcome everybody. Hey, what's up, John? How you doing? I caught you live from you doing. Okay. How you doing? I'm doing great, man. Thanks for asking. It was great talking to you the other day on the phone. We had a great conversation. We were discussing a lot of things about going to Washington and you know, a lot of the lack of understanding on what's really going on in the political climate on the world stage, on everything basically. And it was a great conversation. Thank you for your input and your suggestions. I'm definitely going to interact with the audience more, and we're going to kick this thing off, man. I hope you're doing well. I'm glad you're joining us. And, dude, so, tell us about Saturday, bro. What was Saturday?
Saturday was Dab Days, man.
Saturday was Dab Days. Dab Days!
You guys did the swamp, right?
We were in the swamp. So,
We were
for those of
in
you
the
who don't
swamp.
know, we were in the swamp on Saturday. We're up in Gainesville. We went to a Dab Days. It was put on by a lot of the... Let's see, there was medical...
Wasn't it the Swamp Lounge?
Yeah, the Swamp Lounge was there. They put that on. They put it on with Clear Crew, and they put it on with. There was a good band there. There was a lot. There was live glass blowing. There was great music. There was a lot of different edibles and everything pertaining to the
I missed those.
medicinal
already.
cannabis.
That drink.
Oh man, that shit was awesome, was it not? So what
I'm
did you
still,
think?
listen, I'm still sorry for dropping that on the carpet, by the way.
It happens, man. It
Oh,
happens. It's
hey,
all right.
so listen. After we got
What's up,
back,
Damien?
right, we it was my car just broke down, so I had one car, and he
Right.
gave me right here. So we were literally about to leave, and I'm like, "All right, we're going." He's like, "All right, out the door, we're going." And I pick up this drink, and it literally just slides right out of my hand, and I just
Spills everywhere, all over
and
the
I'm
damn
just
place,
like,
man.
"Oh my god!"
And it
I'm
was a
so
Rick
sorry.
Simpson drink. And for those of you who don't know what Rick Simpson oil is, still no Dilly. Out. Yeah, peace out. Dilly's not coming back. He's not part of the show anymore. He decided to leave. I'm sorry if the show is no longer good for you, Davian.
Davey,
but-
what would you like to talk about?
Yeah, that was his choice. Hey, thanks for joining us, Jen. It was his choice to go, and the situation's been corrected, and it is what it is. So, hope you have a great night, Davian, and you're off doing better things. So, boom, whatever. Yeah, J Moss does have a live show now. We've talked, we've done a lot of stuff together. Go enjoy him. I don't really care. It's you don't like it, you don't like. It doesn't matter to me. Don't really give a shit. Have a great night. Dilly and I are still cool. No love lost. Everything's great. So, whatevs, man.
What is up with my
Whatevs.
forehead, bro? Look at this.
You have a spot in your
What?
forehead, and I got to adjust the filter. But there it goes. There it is. I think it might be latency lag. Anyway, so this Dab Day thing, man, it was totally awesome. There was so much. It was more than I expected.
It
And I'll tell you
really
what.
was. I was kind of overwhelmed at first,
Right.
but like after a bit, it just kind of like mellowed out.
It was really cool, dude. And the Buds for Vets, I got to give a good shout out to them. They were pretty awesome. They got a big crew there.
Yeah. Y'all have my frisbee. It's y'all. Have fun with it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. That drive was pretty crazy, and on the way back, it was definitely fogged out for sure.
I'm gonna tell you, I don't remember the ride back.
I know you were passed out sleeping,
And
man.
I passed out. I was so exhausted.
All right, so I wanted to take a minute. I wanted to say, well, thank you everybody for joining us. And Dab Days was awesome. It's definitely something cool. The Swamp was great. Clear Crew, they put on a great deal. The studio there was amazing. it was really a cool, festive, chill place where everybody got together. We talked about different medications. We talked about different, different problems in the developing cannabis culture here when it pertains to the medicine in regards to veterans, especially.
Yes.
So it was a great time.
Yeah, it was so. I was kind of thrown back a little bit. While we were there,
Right.
I was speaking with people, and they were like, "Oh, well, you'll lose your." I remember them saying to me, "You will lose your benefits," and I was like, "No, you will not.
You will not. Listen, if you're a vet and you use cannabis or you're a medical card holder, like myself, like Crazy Chris, you're not going to lose your benefits.
No.
You will not. You will not. So you don't have to worry about that. Anyway, I want to take a moment, since we're in the month of December, and I wanted to say Merry Christmas to everyone. So, Merry Christmas 2018 from Dick Liberty and the crew. Before we get into it tonight, it's going to be definitely messy. I'm telling you that much for sure. Go ahead and like the show on Facebook if you want to get this stuff out there. We got new shows coming. Green to Green is a new show that's coming. Do you want to talk about Green to Green?
Green to Green is it's a show organization group. We're really just trying to educate the public. That's what it is.
Educate the public about what?
Educate the public about the truth about how marijuana can be medicinal. It can be
medicinal marijuana.
Exactly, medicinal marijuana can be used therapeutically. It can be used
Right.
for just about. They're making homes with it. I was reading a story.
They are. They have a thing called hempcrete now.
Yep.
Hempcrete, where they're taking the hemp plant, they're extracting concrete and formulating concrete from the hemp material, and they're making houses out of hempcrete, and it's supposed to be structurally stronger than actual concrete. It's supposed to have more wind resistance. It's supposed to
Be more
basically
fire
just-
retardant.
yeah, fire retardant, which is ironic because you always want to light that shit on fire. Hey, can you reach up and scroll down on the pad? Don't want to miss any comments, man. Appreciate it. But anyway, yeah, Green to Green is awesome. We launched the first podcast on that. You'll probably have to move that arrow all the way over to the right side. Sweet, it's still going. Cool. We launched the first podcast on that. We had an interview with Dr. Jeffrey Callers. It was amazing. It was great. Thank you, Joyce and Ikram, so much for turning that on. And how you doing, Dolores? Great to see you. What'd John say?
He said it was
Unconstitutional.
unconstitutional and treasonous for the government to regulate marijuana.
You are correct, sir. It is a natural plant, and now that they can make money off it through Big Pharma, they will. I don't know. They're gonna regulate it differently and hopefully release it. If they were smart and they legalized it, they would make a lot of money off of it federally. So, what do you got to say? Oh, we have another special guest. I'm gonna introduce real quick. Go ahead and introduce Mr. Guy. How you doing? Oh, you gotta slide up into the camera a little more, buddy. There you go. How you doing, Guy? What's up, man? How's your week?
Always good.
Always good? Yeah? Okay.
You know what you need? We need to get you a wireless mouse, bro.
Yeah, we do need to get me that. It's gonna come. We're on a budget. We're poor people. No bullshit. I'm a poor dude,
I might have one at the house.
I'm glad I had free tickets to the Dad Days because I haven't been able to go.
bro, exactly. That's what I said.
There's another one coming up this weekend down in Miami.
It's a 5-hour drive.
5-hour drive, yes. I don't know if we'll make that or not, but it would be definitely awesome. I wanna bring one to Daytona Beach.
That'd be awesome.
Dad Day to Daytona Beach. That would be totally awesome.
Right down at the auditorium, right down.
No, right at the band show. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what you meant by auditorium.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Green to Green is gonna be totally awesome. We're doing a special this weekend on Saturday with Dr. Bernard from Bernard Cannabis Center right here in Daytona Beach. And we're going to go through a day in his office and what you can expect to go through if you're applying for your card and all of that fun stuff.
Yeah, just so you know, it's not it's a doctor visit, but it's not so much as like it's not so much like a regular physician visit. They're not going to poke and prod you. They're not going to do all
Yeah,
that
they're not
stuff.
going to stick you with a cannabis syringe and
it's
take your
really
blood and all that crap.
Wait, that's not normal.
No. If that happened, you got duped. Duped? Is that the word I'm looking for?
Dude.
Anyway, so Greg, tell us, how was your week, man? Did you do anything fun like Dab Day or Cannabis Fest or like smoke a lot of weed or what?
Yeah.
Like, have you been watching the news? Hi, what's been going on, man? What you been up to? Introduce yourself to everybody who's new and listening in the audience.
Well, I'm not really great at introducing myself.
Oh wait, is his mic on?
Yeah, his mic's on. He's just not talking into it. He's got to get a little closer.
Check.
Right
Okay.
on.
So speak up like you have a man's voice.
Outside
Okay.
voice.
Use your big boy voice.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the show. myself.
Okay, this is a guy.
Yeah, don't.
He lives kind of close to us. He's up by my other boy's place, and you know he's been recently awakened. How long ago did you awaken?
Well, it's been a little long. Or not a little long, a little while.
A little while. Define a little while.
How long have you
3 and
been
a
awake?
half? No, 4 years.
4
3 and a
years.
half.
Okay, 3.5, 4 years you've been awake. How did you awaken?
Well,
What's your awakening?
I don't remember. I can't remember if I had my son first.
You had your son first.
I think it might have been. No, it was right during having my son. When I had my son, when he was born. Maybe right
Was it-
before he
was
born,
it
maybe
the-
after he
was
born.
it
I
the
don't know. This is it.
Was it
I
what?
think it was the crowning.
I don't
The
know.
crowning?
Yeah,
Yeah.
They crowned, the head crowned, and he goes, oh my god, it's all fake.
I can't decide whether it was him being born or the loss of religion, but I guess they both happened pretty close to each other. So
Oh, what do you got in the comment section?
maybe I can't remember which happened first. Though. I can't remember if
So wait a minute. You're saying you basically lost your religion when your son was born?
yeah.
Okay, that's kind of oxymoronic in my opinion. How did you lose your religion when your son was born? I gotta hear this.
Well, once I had a
What did you
child
say?
of my own, I realized how awesome he was, how precious a little child is,
We do need all the help we can get.
and I realized that there's no way I could ever hurt or harm this child.
So wait. You had a child. You realized there's no way you can hurt or harm this child, and that caused you to lose your religion.
Yes, because then I realized that if I, as a person, would never hurt a child, why would God, the God of the Bible that I believe in so much, be so willing to hurt his people? And if you read the Bible, there's plenty of it.
It's called
And,
free will.
Oh.
No.
Okay, so wait, what'd you say? He's talking about why would God in the Bible hurt people and hurt children
God doesn't
when
do
he
it.
had his
He had his
child?
people.
Wait, you just said you had your child, then you gave up all your religion, and now you're talking about a God that you believe so deeply in. I'm really confused.
I did believe in this God that required sacrifices for sin, required sacrifices for all kinds of things.
Right.
And,
Isn't that why Jesus was the ultimate sacrifice, so we don't have to do that anymore?
Right, that's the stupidest idea that Jesus would be the sacrifice to this evil God that requires sacrifice. I'm not buying
How
that.
do you
shit
respond to
myself.
that? You don't know?
I don't know.
Okay. Alright, continue.
So once I realized that the true good God or creator would not harm his creation, I realized that the God of the Bible that required all the sacrifices and required all these things was the deceiver told about in the Bible. The one
So you're saying God that's worshipped by the majority, by the churches here in the United States is actually the devil, the deceiver? That's who the people are worshiping?
very clearly.
Very clearly. Dude,
And anyone,
So,
have you ever thought of that you're these people, I'm not saying your people, my people, I'm saying the people. Are you Christian?
yeah, I'd say I am.
How does that statement make you feel? That you're worshiping the deceiver?
I don't think he can have his own opinions. It's alright.
Okay.
that's not what he's asking though.
No,
What do you
what-
think
no,
about
no,
it?
he-
What do you think
what do
about
I
it?
think?
Yeah, what is your...
What it means is I don't have to let it bother me. Just because you believe in something that I don't believe in, I'm just gonna be like, cool,
No,
and
no,
I'm
not
just
about
gonna.
bothering you or not.
I'm
but
gonna
what do you think
walk
about that?
I
What
don't.
do you think about my thought? Do you think
I
that
don't.
I'm wrong and
No,
that the
I
God
don't.
of the Bible is a good guy? Is that what you think?
I believe what I was taught by my parents.
So you just believe whatever you were told?
No,
So
I mean,
if they didn't tell you Santa Claus
they
wasn't
taught
real,
it.
would
They
you-
taught it to me, and then I did. You know, I was
Right.
brought up in the church, and you know, I was
Right, so
Okay.
you were
taught
believing
about
you're
the
told.
Bible and everything
You were
else.
taught from what you were told. Did you do any of your own research at all? Did you read the
Yeah.
Bible?
So when did you do your own research? Was it
Was it
before
before
or
or
after?
after?
When I was a believer, I read the Bible, and that was my research. I said, this is the only book I need to know. And I was proud of it. I said, I read one book, that's the Bible. I was really proud of that shit, man. I read it every day.
So you were a Bible thumping chest beater, like they would refer to
Pretty
it.
much.
Okay.
But not a chest beater, no. I wasn't a chest beater. I wasn't like that, but I was like, but, yes, in a way, I was like super proud to be serving my God. I
Uh-huh.
wanted this worship, you know? And then I realized also by having my kid. Actually, I kind of realized that even by having my dogs before I had a child, that I wouldn't even hurt my dogs. Actually, I did hit them a couple times. I felt so bad. I'm like, shit, I fucking hit an animal. What the hell is that?
So you don't spank your dog if he pisses on the carpet?
No.
No?
No.
Do you rub your nose in it?
No.
Okay. What do you do?
But I've gotten really
What did they
mad.
say?
I use a really mad.
John's asking why he would torture his own son.
Why would God? He's asking why God would torture his own son.
Yeah, why did God allow people to torture his own son instead of just like
Yeah,
what we
okay,
were talking
so
before?
if
Instead of
you're-
just-
if
instead of
you're-
just-
I'm asking you.
Yeah, no.
It's
John is
John.
asking
John,
if having your son made you believe in your son and discredit
Oh,
God
yeah,
because you
understand.
would never torture him.
Right.
Why would God torture his son? Why would he have his son crucified?
That's the magic question.
Oh, okay. So Johnson, that's exactly what old guy here is saying.
Right. God wouldn't. A good God wouldn't. Only the evil one would.
Only the evil one.
So
Right,
so if like all these people throughout history, right?
Uh-huh.
They were going through history going, I gotta sacrifice, and that's what they were taught. And God's like, no man, y'all really don't need to do that. But they're like, yeah, we do, we got to. So they just kept doing it. And God's like, no, y'all don't need to do it. And they're like, yeah, we do. And finally he's like, you know what? Here's what'll make them listen. And he did this huge thing that went down in history.
Yeah, that'd
right?
be cool. Did you read
Everybody,
the Bible? That's not what it says anywhere in there. So what story are you going by? This
No, what-
hypothetical, what if this happened? But that's not what it says happened. It says that this God of the Bible said, kill everything, sacrifice to me, keep this as throughout time, forever and ever, keep this as a tradition. All these sacrifice, all these different animals, all this shit, right? You're supposed to do it for your sins, for all these different offerings, and kill doves, and kill rams, and kill fucking anything and everything. Then, let's just throw that out. Hang on.
Okay.
Hang on.
I think you have someone who's going to reinforce your comment though, because Lori says that the Bible was a book written by man.
no, and
By man.
I believe that too. But here's the thing.
I'd say it was
here's
written by a group of very smart men.
I think the Bible we have now was it was definitely written by man,
But don't.
but I think it's been misconstrued.
Okay, if you're gonna have this belief that this guy Abraham, okay, remember Abraham is what everybody's all proud of. Oh yeah, I'm from the line of Abraham. Abraham heard some voice.
Didn't he
Hang on.
like get lifted up by a chariot and lifted into heaven?
Oh, is that what they told you? Is that what you're excited about? You get to
No,
go.
I'm just asking. Am I on the right guy? Listen,
Okay.
bro, I'm
Okay, hang on.
educated.
Yeah,
I
probably.
might not have the best
So,
history lessons going on in my
He
head.
was going to. He heard voices that told him to go kill his son, and he said, "Sure, God, I'll go kill my son because that's what Satan worshippers do. Is they sacrifice their child."
Well, he
So
didn't,
he went
though,
to go do it.
because he got stuck.
Wait. He was damn willing to and going to do it until his merciful Satan had some mercy and said, "You know what? I'll set him aside because you're special, and you go kill that ram instead." He goes, "Okay, thank you, God. You're so good." And everybody goes, "Oh, I'm so proud to be from this satanic fucking line." Oh shit, I'm not supposed to be saying this shit.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's all right.
You can say whatever you want. That's
Yeah,
why
this
this is a
is
platform.
the shit that's not supposed to be out there. This is the shit that they don't want out there, okay?
No,
This is
we
just-
want it out there.
No, I'm talking
Shut
about
us
you. I'm talking
down.
about them.
I don't care what they want. We want what we want. We're the people, so we're going to put it out there.
No camera. I just want to.
What?
I'll talk. They've already seen me. But
They've already seen
I
you.
can't see
You're done.
All right, fuck it. I'm on your.
Yeah, so tell us more
Okay,
about.
if all you do is think rationally and you say, so Abraham was obviously satanic,
Okay.
and this shit's still going on, okay? And the same bloodline, the same true bloodline from Abraham is ruling the world, and those are the people that was in the bloodline of Moses. They're the
So
Levites.
I gotta ask. You'll appreciate this
Yeah, I
question.
should-
Where do the Jews fit into all this?
That is a good question. Where do the Jews fit into all this?
Well, I guess that Abraham, the Jews claim to be from Abraham, and the Jews claim to be
But aren't the Jews the one who led Jesus to his crucifixion and turned him into the Romans?
right because Jesus was saying the same thing I am. He's
Are
saying
you-
it's a bunch of bullshit.
Are you Jesus?
Well,
Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying the same thing. I mean, who is Jesus? Do you know who Jesus is?
I don't know.
Right.
I know a lot
He
of
is you.
Jesus.
He is you?
He is you.
Exactly.
Was Jesus written into the scripts as an idea?
No, Jesus was taken from astrology Okay,
Uh
that's most of the stories are of astrology, but then all of the teachings are basically Hindu, Indian type Hinduism.
John,
Okay,
John says that you shouldn't have smoked before you came on air. Or was that for Crazy Chris? I
Yeah,
need to know.
Which one are we talking about? Are we talking about
Which one was
me or
that for?
him?
it
But
doesn't
anyway,
matter. I mean, even if he says me, I mean,
yeah.
no, that's why everyone should smoke so you can see clearly. If you're not smoking, you should be smoking. That way you can see clearly because.
But I do smoke and I don't see
Okay.
anywhere near.
Well,
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 got glasses on.
Oh wait, I gotta. Oh wait. There we. Oh.
Okay.
No, I'm just
I'm not saying anybody that smokes will see clearly, but it will help those that might. So this is stuff that Jesus, that was written about in the scriptures about those who have eyes to see and ears to hear, okay?
Right,
Those who have
right.
eyes to see and ears to hear will know what I'm talking about. There's plenty of them out there. They're probably listening right now, and maybe you'll see some comments. But
Wait, John, you still have. Oh wait, I gotta.
most
scroll.
people, though,
Yeah.
that still say they have the eyes to see, still are believing in this idea that God is good, the God of the Bible. And they say Jesus is our Savior and all shit. That's not what the Bible
what-
says. That's nothing about
What
the Bible.
other God is there? I mean, is there a God of not the Bible? Can I get my atheist God out of the bookstore, Barnes and Noble?
Well,
Like,
What is a God?
Hey,
I don't know.
if
I'm asking you.
So, no, I'm asking you because everybody they worship a God. I don't. I'm
Hey.
asking you guys what you worship. What is a God?
I don't know.
So why would you worship
Is it an
one?
idea?
Exactly, worshiping an idea. What sense does that make?
I don't know. It makes me feel kind of better.
That's
Does it?
fucking.
Why
I'm
does it
sorry,
make you
that's
feel
a
better to
ignorant
worship an
thing.
idea?
Why?
I don't know if my idea that is that we were all created, over time. I've explained to you millions of years.
Right,
Make sure
right.
everybody's correct. If I believe that, and that makes me get up in the morning sometimes, and makes me have a good day. What's wrong with that?
Well,
I
that's
mean, who
fine.
the fuck cares?
That's fine. If you want to say that Santa Claus makes you feel better too, and you go, well, I don't believe in Santa Claus because it makes me happy. And a lot of children might want to hold on to that.
They might
But-
need that. They might be in a
But
really,
nobody needs
really
it. I'm telling you
shitty
right now, nobody
situation.
needs it because I know for a fact,
Nobody,
once I woke
right.
up, oh, dude, it changed my life. I only became a better person.
Just like nobody needs beer, but you're drinking that beer because it
Only
makes you
because I
feel
like
good.
it.
Yeah,
No,
because
Because you know, you said yourself, okay,
What's
the
up,
beer's
Jimmy?
gonna make
How
me
you doing,
feel
man?
good,
Glad
and
I'm here.
then
What's up,
you
Amanda?
drink it and it makes you feel good.
But I
But
feel good all the time. This only enhances it. See, I'm always happy, and you can talk to anybody.
that's what God is. God is a feeling of enhancement. When you believe in God and they teach you something is gonna happen,
That's
and then
just
something in your life
God is a
happens, and you
feeling of
feel that.
enhancement.
When you feel that, that's how you know. That's what God is.
What do you mean?
That's our ghost guest talking. He's talking about
When
the feeling
something
of
happens
God
and
and
somebody
his
said it happens?
enhancement
Here, okay.
as so that
So,
Guy can
No, that
understand
doesn't
how it's
mean-
equivalent to the beer enhancing his current feeling and mood. How do you reply, Guy?
you could talk to me
Could I get some of
any
that?
time of the day, 24 hours a day. I will tell you the same thing. Nothing
Cool.
changes the way I think because I've found the truth. When I used to be searching for the truth, which I still have.
We're talking about God and
Is God
the
real?
demonized God, the Satanist God, the deceitful God who tortured his son,
And that's the
and
secret of
how
Solomon.
God
See, these are the things you got to research.
and
That's-
how
The
God has
Bible is
lost his
actually
religion
a
once he had his own child.
So what if we all just believe that God is just there, right? What if we
How does that benefit you?
just let me finish, right?
Same way it benefits you to know that you're going to feel better from drinking this
I
beer.
don't know that I will.
Then why are you drinking
I
it?
might not even finish it. I
What
just-
about
Whoa. You just said you love beer, you like beer, it makes you feel good, it enhances your feeling. And he said, well, what if we...
I
what
didn't
if
say
we
enhance my
God?
feeling. I
Yes,
said I like drinking.
Did you not?
anybody out there?
I'm sorry,
We have
anybody
I said
in
nothing
I
changes
need
the
to
way I
know
the
say
why
it.
you
audience?
said that because
You said
please.
it doesn't make you feel better. It enhances your feelings.
It enhances
Oh,
your
I said I'm
feeling.
always happy. It might enhance.
Yeah,
Mike,
Maybe.
no.
I don't even know if it does. I just like drinking beer.
We're obviously enhancing something for you.
Maybe I just like believing that there's a God out there. What's the problem?
Maybe he does like
Okay,
believing
that's
there's a
fine.
God
And I
out there.
said that's just fine as long it's the same though.
Scroll,
It's saying to
scroll,
somebody,
yeah, I got you.
if they tell you, well, I like believing in Santa Claus, you go, okay, well, and we can all disagree. But I go, come on, just wake up, please.
Oh.
I want the people around me to wake up.
Ooh,
I
we got
love
Amanda out there who
people who are women,
says,
actually.
okay, I
I
am a
studied
woman
that.
and I don't believe in God.
Well,
Because she's smart.
Why don't you believe in God? That's what I would like to know. That's a question I have to ask you, Amanda. You can share. I hope the comments pop up. We're trying to keep on top of them. because that was a complaint that we
Yeah,
had.
'cause
That
the
we
whole
didn't do good
question-
enough on.
Yes,
We're getting
please,
better.
please understand that I'm having to jump back and forth to scroll through comments.
Yes, like
That's
a
why I
monkey.
keep moving. It's
Like a
not
monkey.
like I'm doing.
They're not even seeing you when you move because I'm on this screen right
See,
here.
the
Go ahead.
question is,
What's the question, guy?
the questions are very important. That's what we all need to do, is questioning everything. And the question is, why would you believe in God?
Why would
Because
you?
it makes me feel better.
Okay, so then I'll go to another question. Why does it make you feel better?
Oh, but
I'm just asking, why does it make you feel better?
because, like I said, it just makes me feel better.
Are you
No.
sure though? How do you know? Because you haven't tried not believing in God, so how do you know? Because I know for a fact.
You do?
I know
Wait,
for a
wait, wait,
fact.
hold on. Let's go back to me real quick.
I'm not gonna say I know you haven't believed in God. but I
No,
know for
you
a fact.
just
I didn't-
said,
hey, I didn't finish.
you just said, you've never believed in God. You should try not believing
I did
in
not
God.
say that.
You should try not
I said you
believing.
should try not to.
Come
'cause-
on.
But you might have, but not before. But now
Who
you
says
do.
I haven't?
Maybe you have before.
There's
but now
a reason
you do.
I know about Wicca that I
now-
just said that I
but
studied
now that
Wicca
you do
when I
believe,
said
okay?
Amanda.
Why
Now
did you
you
study
do.
Wicca?
If you
Because
wake up.
because early in my childhood I was like, oh, I'm forced to be Christian. I want to do other things. So I was like,
You're
I
like,
don't
fuck
believe.
God.
Yeah, I was like, fuck God. I don't believe in him. And I went and studied Wicca, and I studied all this other stuff, and then I just made my way back to what made me feel
wait, let's
the
clarify
best.
something, by the way.
What was there in
Wicca
my
is
hardest
not.
times.
Wicca's not believing in God.
What is Wicca there,
What is
guy?
Wicca?
Wicca still believes in gods.
Man,
They
the
believe in all
Wicca-
kinds
the
of
No,
gods.
witches-
no. We're talking
No,
about the
you
Christianity
a
God.
God, the God,
But I'm
the
saying
one God.
it's the same thing. You have to stop
It's
believing in any fucking bullshit.
There you
Because
go.
sorry about the language, by the way.
What are you apologizing for?
I don't know if that.
Listen,
if that
as
offends
long
you.
as you don't
Okay.
say cunt, I don't
Listen.
think people will get too angry about
You
it.
have to
If
say
you
see you
stop
next
believing,
Tuesday.
Yeah.
stop believing
Can
what
you
you
scroll
were
on?
told.
Yeah, I got you.
Stop believing what you've heard
Amanda
or
believes in
read.
science.
Only
Oh, there it
go
is.
with what you've witnessed.
Oh yeah, there we go, there we go.
Okay.
What do we got up there? Okay.
Earth is what you.
I believe in science, I believe in nature, and on the force of Mother Nature, Mother Earth. That is a good observation.
No, I totally believe that
faith
Jesus was
is
pagan.
what you
Right.
make it. Faith is what you make it. Joshua, thank you for joining. And Jesus, I couldn't see that second one.
It says Jesus was pagan.
Jesus
And I
was
bel-
pagan.
I'll believe
Is that why
it.
he hung out with the sinners? Is that why? Is that why there was the Caesar's Messiah, a book that was written about the conquest of Titus Flavius on his Roman conquest, and how they matched exactly to the stories of what Jesus was doing and talked about in the Bible? I don't know.
Jesus
You
wasn't
know a
pagan.
lot.
What do you think about that?
Jesus wasn't pagan. Jesus is the symbol of the pagan god.
Ah,
Jesus
the pagan god.
was of no religion. He would have not claimed of any religion, just as I do not. He would have been of no religion. He would
Why
have
didn't you
said,
just draw a parallel to yourself and
because
Jesus?
I am speaking the same things that he wasn't
Because
trying to
guy is
understand.
you. Guy
I
is
used to
Jesus,
read it.
guy is
I used to read all the things that were written that he said. And now I catch myself saying these things and understanding them now by accident. Because once you understand it, you see that what he was talking about is the same thing I am. He was saying this religion is evil. All of you Pharisees are evil. All of this shit is evil. And somehow they went and spun it and said, oh yeah, but then he claimed to be the son of their God. And he just died instead of you having to make other sacrifices. No, that's not what he was saying at all. Not one time did he say anything should be sacrificed.
So, what was the main message of Jesus?
That's why he.
Anything
cried.
you read, he never says anything about that he, that's why he died? Why? Why?
No, cried.
Okay.
That's why he cried blood in the garden when he was like, he begged and pleaded. That's why there's that whole story
What I'm
of him
saying-
going. No, wait, just let me talk. Of him going and being like in the garden, remember? And he was like, oh, I'm praying so hard. And he was fucking crying tears of blood. And then what was it? I believe that's when the guards came and fucking Peter cut off the dude's ear. Jesus was like, no, man, you don't need to do that. Grabbed the dude's ear, put it back on.
So please.
And was like, okay, take me. And they took him.
Okay,
Is that when you
right
were
there.
saying that he was like, I don't want to do this?
Yeah, right there I say, that's a pretty weak God you got there.
Why?
Very powerless. Weak and
Powerless.
powerless.
Jesus,
So-
Jesus wasn't a God. Jesus was
Oh, everybody says he is God. Was he God or is he
the Son
not?
of God.
Wait, many people say he's the Son of God, which is God. No,
A lot of
and he
people
got
believe
that he
different
got all
things,
whipped and
there's a
beat
lot
up
of-
because
there's a lot of
why?
different
So
beliefs
you wouldn't
about
have
what
to.
Jesus-
oh, thank you, but no thank you. I don't need somebody getting whipped for me. I don't need anybody dying for me.
Well, that was in the time. You know, they wouldn't
Oh.
whip people nowadays.
Because a bunch of people have too much
I mean,
fucking
maybe
pussy.
Yeah, they still whip
Afghanistan.
people in different places,
Do
in
they
different
still-
parts of the
where-
world, yeah.
Where,
Okay.
where do they throw rocks?
They do cane, whip,
People are
lashings, and
too
everything
fucking
else.
pussy,
Huh?
too much.
Hang on. There we go, yeah.
People are way too much pussies to take responsibility for themselves. So they say, I'd rather believe that somebody else died for me. So that way I can get away with whatever the fuck I want. And I realized nobody died for me. I'm responsible for myself. I need to be good to the people around me.
What is
I
the
need to
best
take care of the
commentary?
world around me.
Because Satan was also an angel, which he was.
Satan was an angel, yes.
Satan was an angel.
He was-
He was a fallen angel.
So,
Actually,
according to that story,
Lucifer-
what do you think about that?
Well, Lucifer was the angel.
Yeah,
Do you
also known
believe-
as Satan.
Do you believe in this? Do you
Lucifer is
What?
an idea. Lucifer is the angel of light. Lucifer is knowledge. Lucifer is light. Okay? That is what it means. Lucifer is the light bearer. Okay? Lucid is light, illuminate.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we know that Luce means light. Lucid.
Okay.
Lucifer is light. Light is knowledge. Light is good.
So, how...
We all know light is good, so we were
Where
all
do
taught in the
you,
Bible.
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Where do you
Yeah, I wanna make
think?
that very clear.
Hang on. Where do you think the cultural relevance and transference from the language in which the Bible was written during the cultural context of the time? How do you draw parallels between the current cultural environment so it relates in a manner that makes sense to everybody?
Okay, so look at
And
this.
that is a really deep
If-
question.
You see what I'm saying? Like, because right now it's like, yeah, everybody's talking about God and everybody wants to worship this God, or I'm an atheist, or you're a pagan, or you know, it's bad if you don't do X, Y, Z because the church says. But
here's
how do you make the cultural relevance of when the stories were written to today
That's what I said
to pull the moral aspects out of it?
Yeah, why do we care what people wrote thousands of years ago? And then I say on top of that, why do we care what people wrote hundreds of years ago? Oh, these fucking papers these people wrote, the Constitution we love so much. Why, from these guys that from fucking 250 years ago, we care what the fuck they said? Aren't we more advanced? Shouldn't we be able to come up with our own ideas now by now and say, hey, we can figure out how to live together. We don't need to be worried about what they said. We can all figure this out on our own. But no, everybody goes, hey, we got to depend on someone else to take care of us. We need Jesus to save us. We need Trump to save us. We need someone to save us.
Hey, do you think we need Trump to save us?
Maybe.
Maybe.
We need Trump to save us from the Mexicans.
From the Mexicans?
From the Mexicans.
Why do you say that?
The wall. Man,
The
I'm
wall.
just.
Hey,
don't
there
take
was
it serious.
there
Don't
was
take it-
rumor that he
don't take it
was
too serious.
floating around the idea to delay the government shutdown for funding for the wall. Like, what do you think
Well,
about that?
that wouldn't be.
It's all propaganda.
All propaganda.
Well, of course,
Do you think the
that's
caravan
what-
is
that's what
propaganda? You think, what do you
What
think?
do you think propaganda
Dude,
is?
this
It's
is
trying to-
all to
propaganda
divide
is
the
trying to
people.
convince other people
All
to do
this
what
is
you want
to
them to
divide
do.
the people. As it's been stated, united we stand, divided we fall. And this whole Trump campaign from beginning till now, from the beginning of the whole campaign with Hillary, and
To the
from
email
beyond.
scandal, to the
Actually,
Mueller scandal,
from even
to-
before, oh yes, every bit of it has been
yeah.
to divide the people, divide. That's what all religion's about. Divide this religion from that
Divide,
religion.
divide. Conquest in the name of religion. Oh, it's
That
holy
way-
that we're killing all these people. That was the justification for holiness of war.
And that way they can control the people, because the people, if all the people came together, if we all came together as one idea and said, hey, we can make this fucking place awesome. What if we all just got along?
You know what?
You
Speaking
know,
of coming together, I'm going to play something real quick. This has to do with France and the riots. The people in France came together, and this is what happened. Check this out.
Thank you.
The French government is backing down from its
If
planned
anybody-
fuel tax hike that sparked violent protests all across France and Paris, according to
But
multiple
yeah, if anybody
reports
thinks
published
that
on
this
Tuesday.
isn't
French Prime Minister Edouard
staged
Philippe
and
will announce
planned
the
and set
suspension
up
of the tax, which was due
by
to come into force on
the
January
higher
1st,
ups out of your mind,
according to local
think
and
people came
international media
together
reports.
on their own and did this
Stopping
shit.
the tax, which the government said
Just like
was
if anybody
funding
thinks that
initiatives,
thousands
was
of
a
people
core
came
demand of the
together to walk
so-called
across the
Yellow
country.
Vest protest. The concession would be the first major policy U-turn
You don't
for
think
President
this was-
Emmanuel
you think
Macron
this was
since
planned?
coming to power last year, and a
No, I
major
think
back
it's
down from
Every
his tough
bit's
talk
planned.
in
Everything
the
they do
previous
is
days.
planned.
Despite Saturday's demonstrations resulting in 400 arrests,
Amanda's saying we
130
need,
people injured, and more than
Wait till
3 million
tomorrow.
euros
Just
in
wait till tomorrow.
$1.4 million in
Tomorrow,
damage.
We need
The
what?
Yellow Vests appear to have the public support.
Morality.
More than 70% of French public backed the protesters, according to a
Wait,
recent
where
survey,
is,
while
what is
Macron's
that?
I believe.
support has
No,
dropped
in
down
the Oval Office.
Oh, more, wait, How is that going to help us though? Morality in the office. We need an office. We need moral people to tell us what to do. Oh, sorry.
We're gonna touch that in just a sec. Just a sec.
I'm sorry.
It's about to end up right here. Getting done.
Oh yeah, this is so staged.
So he's saying Amanda says that we need morality.
That's
in
what
the
I. That's
office and
Amanda.
more-
Can we have confirmation on it? Because it says Amanda said, "Well, what Bible or version?" And she goes on to say, "People have lost touch with the word. The word is the Ten Commandments."
Why
And
would
she
we need
says, "Name a
commandments?
president that didn't have an affair." LMAO. What do you like? Not something like that.
Well, we know Clinton did. He got
Clinton
Lewinsky'd.
Can anybody answer why the Ten Commandments are something to cherish?
Well, I mean, they kind of tell you like what's not to do.
What? Okay. How do you?
Like if I
How
was,
do you see the Ten Commandments? How do you? What do the Ten Commandments mean to you? How do you see the Ten Commandments?
just kind of like a
Pure Leaf, you're awesome, by the way.
for real.
How do you see the Ten Commandments?
Just kind of as like just values to live by. I don't know, don't have any other gods. Cool, gotcha. You want me to be you? Me and you, got it. Don't kill. Awesome. Won't do it. Don't steal. Okay. I mean, I don't know them all. You can't.
You think that they're good?
So you're saying we should go out and murder, steal?
I didn't say we should do anything. I'm asking you why you think that they're good, but
Well, just because.
What do you think of when you
What do
think
you
of the
think
Ten
of when you
Commandments? When you hear Ten Commandments, was like what
Let
the
me scroll
shit?
again.
it's basically to me, it's the 10 temptations. Okay, this is the way
The
you
10
tempt.
temptations.
Yeah, the way you
This is gonna
tempt
be a good
somebody
take, I can
is by
tell.
telling someone not to do something. I learned that from having my child. That's when I started waking up to everything. I teach
He
my
woke up a
child.
lot when he had a child, apparently.
Hey, who
Yeah.
taught you your morals and values?
What?
My parents,
Where'd your parents learn them?
from their parents, I guess.
Who taught them?
Everybody learns from their parents. That's
So
why I'm making it very
where
important.
is like that? Like who
That's what
taught?
changed my life. Is I realized the way I learned it was just from my parents, and the way they learned was from their parents. And I go, well, why the hell am I just believing what my parents fucking thought? I go, this is fucking stupid. Wait a second, let me look into it for myself. So I started looking at it. I go, oh, there's so many other beliefs out there, and so many other people.
How
And then
How did you not shoot up a high school?
Why would I? See, that's the whole thing. Is that's what they want you to believe. Is I'm some sort of crazy lunatic when I'm the most sane person out there that says I wouldn't hurt anybody because
Everybody.
we're all the same.
You know, when
Everybody.
when you start speaking the truth, they do come at you more. What do you got?
Do you think Guy is saying everybody out there in the world? I need to know. Do you
Leave your
think
marks in the
Guy
comments. Is guy
Yes.
crazy?
Is Guy crazy or is he sane? I just want to know in comments. Let
Like,
me know. Thank you. That's all. And I will
In a
scroll.
crazy world, crazy people. Let's just say it's not an insult to be labeled crazy in a crazy world.
Right, right. Okay. So-
Amanda says that she had shitty parents. I learned by not doing what they did.
So Amanda had shitty parents. She learned by not doing what she did, and I'm glad she brought that point up. Yes, you can. I'm glad she brought that point up because, like, I myself had a shitty upbringing, so to speak. So I learned exactly what I didn't want to do from my mom, and I learned everything I did want to do from the various upstanding
Right.
gentlemen I found in the community because I couldn't even watch them on TV. We didn't have one, which is probably even better, but that's cool.
So what I'm saying is we all learn from being kids. We all learn our regular morals and dogma from kids, or from being children. And so that's what I'm saying is we all learn that, but at one point we have to wake up out of that and say, wait, it doesn't matter what the fuck we learned, because we might have been taught bullshit. We just might have been taught bullshit. Because
might have, yeah.
right, but we all think we were. And that's the problem is every fucking person in every religion thinks that they were taught right. And once you go, wait, how can
That's
they all...
called faith.
And that's the stupidest fucking thing to have faith in some shit that you have no idea about except for something you were taught by your parents because they believe in.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this.
You're born with the knowledge immediately, right?
Let me-
You're born knowing everything.
My son
Let me
knows
ask you
way
this.
more than you do.
Let me ask you this. Why,
And that's not,
He's
like,
3.
why were you so, what had you so convinced in faith before you had your
I
son?
should get off the radio talking about this shit. I don't like it because I'm talking a lot of stuff that's not supposed to be out there. Okay, but
You understand
it's
that
okay
the
to say
platform
that
of
you're-
Big Liberty
Yeah,
is
it's
to
okay.
put everything that's not supposed to be
Yeah.
out there,
yeah,
right? You
but I'm
understand
talking
that?
about I'm not okay. This,
That's why we're
I'm
here.
by the- This
Just
is
like
important
there's
shit. This is
there's
the real important shit, okay?
there's a lot of important
This
shit.
is
There's a segment that I have on here that's called the Dirty Deed, and that was done at the
Once you realize
the
about
Constitutional Convention of 1770.
But once you realize that this religion is the biggest lie ever, then you realize that the government's all based on it, and they know this, and that they are using it to control the people, and then you realize that the government is bullshit, and they are lying right enough to control everything, and this is what they don't want out. Once you realize that religion has been controlling you, and you say, I'm not going to believe what I was fucking taught anymore, I'm going to figure it out myself.
Nothing for myself.
And you start looking at it from a different angle, and you say, wait, okay, in the Garden of Eden, it says that there was the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Now, God, or the Lord said, from all of the trees you can eat, but from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you must not eat, for when you do, you will surely die. Okay?
Well, why, okay, so why would there be a tree of knowledge that you get the fruit from that kills you
Well,
once
that's
you
what
take
I'm saying.
it?
So, he
That's
said,
fucking
he
retarded.
says, for when you do, you will surely die. Then it says,
Well, what
well,
if
then,
you
but then the
suddenly
serpent
had the
comes.
knowledge of death? What if before you ate the
Sorry.
before you ate the
Sorry.
before you ate the tree the tree
The
before you
apple.
ate the apple?
He ate a tree. He's still thinking about that day.
Oh man, I'm telling you. Before you eat the apple, you don't even know what death is, right? But
exactly.
what if now you eat the apple, now you know what death is? So that means having
So-
knowledge means you know what
Well,
death is. So now you'll
can
die.
I explain what I'm getting at?
Yes, please do.
So it says
A lot of
in
people are
there, it
asking.
says in there, from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you must not eat, for when you do, you will surely die. He doesn't say, don't eat from it because it's going to piss me off. I'm going to punish you, or it's a sin. He says, you must not eat from it, for when you do, you will die. Okay? Knowing, meaning he knew already they're going to eat from it, right? For when you do, not if you do, but when you do. Meaning, this God already knew when you do. Okay? You will surely die. Then it says, then the serpent said, no, you can eat from it. You won't die. He knows that you will be like us and have knowledge.
Wait, go back 15 seconds, man. Now you lost me for a second. Sorry.
He said, for when you do, when you eat, for when you eat from this tree of knowledge, you will die. He's saying, it's not if you're going to eat, it's not when, it's basically
don't
when
do.
you're going to eat.
Because he's all knowing.
He's already knowing.
But no, because for one, do you want to live forever? Who wants to live forever?
A lot of people,
No,
immortals,
think about it.
vampires, like a whole bunch of
No,
people.
but those are the evil people. The evil ones, okay? You're right.
Not really. I know
They're-
a lot of
they're-
them. Dude,
they're
have you
heavily
not?
classified
Have you
by the
not watched
Bible.
Highlander? What's wrong with
That's
you?
what they want you to do. So this is what, say you were there, say you have these trees there, okay? Now, you know right there, that's the first temptation, by the way. That's the first temptation. From that tree you must not eat. Now, of course, all your life, you're living for 1,000 years, 2,000 years, 3,000 years, 5,000 years, however fucking long you want, and you go all along, you're gonna go, I gotta know what the fuck that tree is about. Eventually, you have to. So you gotta go eat from it. So, but no, it didn't take that. Who knows how long it took. So the serpent says, you can eat from it, you'll be like us. Now, after,
Thank you, man.
After-
Turn that down real quick.
listen, after she eats, then she gives to him. She didn't die. She gives to Adam. He didn't die. But it says instantly, sorry, am I too loud?
No, you're
This is instantly,
I think I'm too.
their eyes were opened and they could see. It doesn't say they sinned. It says their eyes were open and they could see. Anybody that reads the Bible, it's right there in front of your face, but nobody reads this shit.
Which version?
The King James Version or any of them. Okay? Then their eyes were open, they could see. Then they could see the truth. Then they saw they were enlightened. Okay? They took the knowledge. That's what you're denying. You don't want the knowledge. And that's the light. And that's what it's been hidden from you, and you've been told not to accept it. And that's what everyone else out there, they're all been, I'm not telling you. But any believer in Jesus or this religion has been taught not to accept the knowledge of the truth.
So
Okay?
what is the truth that you know?
He's asking, what's the knowledge of the truth that you know of to this
Yeah.
point?
I'd
now?
love to
That's what he
know.
wants to know.
I'd love to know this. All knowledge thing. Sum it up in the
Okay, well
one
let's start with the simple. I'm not going to go deep on it. Okay, we'll start with the simple first understanding of it.
Yeah, because we got to move on. We got
Okay,
one more thing to cover.
Well, the first knowledge is that you understand that the God of the Bible is the devil. Okay?
All right.
That's clear. It says,
God
in
is
the
the-
beginning, there was darkness, and darkness floated over the waters. That's God. God is darkness. Then he said, let there be light. That's Lucifer. That's the light. Well, we all know light is good, otherwise we'd all be in darkness right now. The sun is Lucifer. The sun is the light. The sun is Luke Skywalker. Lucifer the Skywalker. Okay? Yeah, this is all real shit. Oh, you can look. This is real. Darth Vader.
Lucifer the Skywalker.
Yes, and Darth Vader is Dark Father, and this is no joke.
Okay. This is
Vader
the
is
parallel
Father
you're
in
talking about
German.
between
Darth
like
is Dark.
Star Wars and God.
This is how they've been putting it in front of your faces all your life.
Right.
Darth Vader is the Dark Father, which is Yahweh, okay?
Yahweh.
Or
I do know that.
Jehovah.
Or Jehovah.
And-
You've read the Epoch or the Epoch novel, basically
No.
Epoch stories.
I
all
don't
that.
read novels.
Enoch, sorry, not Epoch.
Oh, you're talking
Enoch.
about the Book of Enoch?
Yeah, the Book of Enoch.
I know about it. I haven't
You
really
know
read
it?
it because
Okay.
what I have realized is all of these books are books that they are set, that the people bring us and they go,
I know of it, I haven't read it though.
All right. Well,
go ahead.
yeah, it's definitely crazy, man, and we could sit and talk about this all friggin' night and definitely get in a big fight. But
Why would there be a fight?
no, I don't know. I was just because most people fight about this kind of stuff, man.
I'm never mad about it. I was just trying to bring the light.
But no, I'm glad you're trying to bring the light. I'm gonna play this next one, and it's called Dirty Deeds. Okay. Now it's got its own audio going on. I
Can
know
you
we
turn it up so
can't
we can
hear
hear
it.
it,
I
or
know
no?
we can't hear it right here.
We need
But
headphones.
I will. I'll talk about it after it
All right,
plays.
I'll pay
Okay.
attention this time.
So now we're gonna move on to Dirty Deeds, and this is gonna hit a lot of you guys pretty hard. So here we go.
A compromise was made at the Constitutional Convention in 1787. New Englanders in the Deep South agreed to include a constitutional provision that protected the foreign slave trade for 20 years. The slave trade obviously was a hot debate topic at the time. Naturally, South Carolina and Georgia delegates had to agree to support a constitutional clause which made it easier for Congress to pass commercial legislation so that the Atlantic slave trade would be resumed until 1808. 1808, it was outlawed for three main reasons. First, Britain was also in the process of outlawing the slave trade in 1807, and the United States did not want to concede any moral high ground to its rivals. Secondly, the Haitian Revolution, 1791 to 1804, during the Haitian Revolution, from 1791 to 1804, a successful slave revolt against French colonial rule in the West Indies had changed the stakes in the slave debate. The image of thousands of armed black revolutionaries terrified the shit out of white Americans. Third, the Haitian Revolution had ended France's plans to expand its presence in the Americas, so in 1803 the United States had purchased Louisiana Territory from the French at a fire sale price. This massive new territory, which had double the size of the United States, had put the question of slavery's expansion at the top of the national agenda. Many white Americans, including President Thomas Jefferson, thought that ending the external slave trade and dispersing the domestic slave population would keep the United States a white man's republic and perhaps even lead to the disappearance of slavery. The ban on the slave trade, however, lacked effective enforcement and measurements and funding. Moreover, instead of freeing the illegally imported Africans, they left the act of their fate to the individual states, and many of those states simply sold off the intercepted slaves at auction. Thus, the ban in and of itself, it kind of permeated the logic of property ownership in human beings. The new federal government protected the slavery as much as it expanded democratic rights and privileges for white men.
All right, that right there, that was the Dirty Compromise, okay? The Dirty Compromise is a little segment we did about the Constitutional Convention in 1787, all right? Basically, this was a convention where they were the North wanted to get something passed, the South didn't want to do away with slavery, okay? So the North made a proposition for a constitutional provision that they had drafted up, basically granting permission to have commercial, for commercial licensing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So to make
Commercial
slavery
legislation, basically, was
So
the
to
very
make slavery
first.
legal?
Well, no. Slavery was what they used as a bargaining chip because they knew the South still needed slaves. They were underpopulated in their slaves. The slave trade was a hot debate at the time. So the New Englanders were like, we have plenty of excess slaves. We'll go ahead and, here's what we'll do. we're going to put this provision in so that we can have the commercial legislation, and in return, North Carolina or South Carolina and Georgia delegates, they supported the clause because they needed more slaves. They didn't have enough slaves.
So it was basically taking black people from the northwest or northeast.
No, this was to keep the
Wait, he
slave
didn't say,
trade
he didn't say anything
going.
about black
Okay.
people, he said slaves.
No, I just said slave. It has nothing to do with color, nothing, nothing to do
Sorry.
with
Again, that's my stupid history.
craziness. You know, so as a result, you know, because in 1807 the slave trade was up for abolishment
Okay.
initially, all right? As a result of this clause that was presented by the New Englanders, the Deep South, being the South Carolina, Georgia, and other states, said, okay, we're going to give you this commercial clause, commercial legislation in the Constitution. In exchange, you will let us continue the slave trade for another 20 years. Because they didn't have enough slaves to run the plantations, to pick cotton, to do all the stuff they needed to do to run their economy at the time. Okay? So, it was resumed, but 1808 it became outlawed again. And that was because of three reasons. One, Britain was in the process of outlawing slavery and the slave trade, and the United States did not want to.
Like there was slavery in Great Britain.
Yeah, of course. The United States didn't want to basically succumb to their rivals.
What is
when it comes to
slavery?
that. Okay, what is? We got a question over here. What is slavery? I hope you guys enjoyed that little piece. We'll talk a little bit more as we go through this. What is slavery? How do you define slavery? Because we're having this
I
talk
don't
out there.
know.
but-
I want you to finish that thing.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking you, I don't know what slavery is, what is slavery?
What is slavery? What is slavery to you? You wanna?
I guess I would have to say that.
Oh yeah, you're good. Never mind. Red style. Yeah.
I'm guessing you would have to say that slavery is making people to do things against their will, and if you're, right there, you're making people do
Well,
things
okay,
against their will.
if you were a smart businessman, a wealthy businessman,
I'm not that wealthy.
No, I
don't
know.
get any false feelings.
but I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about slave owners.
I know.
They were wealthy businessmen. If you were one, so you gotta start thinking like them.
Again, you're taking me too
But
serious.
no, the problem is you're not one, so you gotta think like them. If you think
I
like
have
them,
to think. Well, what year?
anytime.
Uh,
Anytime
Okay.
in the world, in all of
Wealthy.
fucking existence,
A wealthy
Okay.
person that owns a lot of people.
anytime that there's a wealthy person in existence, in order to have good slaves, do you think you want unhappy slaves or happy slaves?
Well,
Do you think you're going to beat your slaves, or do you think you're going to make them happy so they work hard and produce for you?
Well, I mean, I think throughout history we.
Do you think you might trick them into thinking that maybe they're doing it for themselves?
Yeah, but what do we know happened?
Yeah.
We don't know shit that happened.
Jingle these.
Do you know?
We don't know anything that
Did-
happened.
Did slavery happen, God?
Yeah, did
Wait,
slavery happen?
Wait, I'm asking you what slavery is. Now, if you're saying,
But I'm asking you, do you believe in slavery?
what is slavery is what I'm asking.
No. Do you believe that?
Well,
the
do you
American
believe in slavery and
history-
did slavery happen are two
Like-
different questions.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
sorry. Yeah, that is correct.
Scroll down.
What I'm asking is, do you believe the Americanized version
No,
that
I
they
do
teach
not.
in school?
What's
So
up, Chris
you-
McCall?
you don't
Shout out,
believe-
Big boy. Dallas Williams. how
You
doing,
don't
man?
believe
Thanks for joining us.
Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad and
No,
like any
no.
of that stuff?
No, I do not.
Do you believe in the Holocaust?
No, I do not.
Alright.
I don't believe in anything. I only
Okay.
can go by what I've researched. And if you research the Holocaust, you'll find out, well, that's bullshit. It's impossible. It was actually physically impossible. No, you laugh.
No,
I just want to hear what you have to say. I'm just having a
man, I thought of a joke from earlier.
No, hang on. Physically impossible to have burned as many bodies as they said there was. Physically, for the time, you would have had been burning like thousands and thousands of bodies. They say in these ovens, it's all bullshit. Then, do you know how many times before the Holocaust was said that 6 million Jews were killed? See, this was all written in the Talmud that said 6 million Jews
The
had
what?
the Talmud.
The
So
what?
you don't even know what the Talmud is. So you don't know anything. So you have
It's a different religious guidance.
It's not really. It's the Jewish Bible.
Yeah.
Okay. So
You're about to say it's not really religious.
no, it's not. It's so they had 6 million Jews have to die. Whatever. So
They basically they wrote the script for the Holocaust to
Thank you.
fulfill the prophecy of the Jewish Bible.
right.
Okay.
That's what he's saying.
And they've done and so they could also then get Israel. I shouldn't be talking about this. I don't think.
What?
about it.
No, you should, man.
Okay, so maybe whatever you said. I should.
Don't be scared.
Just don't be scared. We want to talk about everything.
So,
We're gonna go back
I
to
don't
all
know,
the
are you
points.
at all
John may pop up here in the
what's it
comment
called?
section.
Yeah. Oh, there's no comments. Let's go to it. Let's go to it. We're trying to get all your comments in, guys. Hey, what's up, Leah Davis? How you doing? Glad you joined us.
White slavery. It's a
Ooh.
link.
We're talking. Yeah, there was white slavery too. There was all kinds of slavery. There was
That's what I'm saying.
yeah, the
they
Danish
tricked us.
slavery. There was French slavery. There was white slavery. There was German slavery. There was Christian slavery. There's all kinds of slavery throughout the world.
What's the difference? We're still in slavery because
You-
what makes a slave? I'll tell you what makes a slave is someone that has. Okay, if a slave, if let's say you were, no matter what color you were, white or black,
All right.
back in those days, in the days of so-called slavery, white or black, that's gonna hit it all, dude. If you didn't work, you'd be in the fucking woods, just like now.
Yeah.
So they said, if you want to have a fucking house and a place to live, work on our plantation. So they had a place to live. They got to live. They fucking now they go, hey, we got to free the slaves. They go, no, we got one better yet. We'll fucking enslave the white people too. We'll say you're all free now. We'll just give you paper to do our fucking work for us.
Okay, wait a minute. What if I told you that actually when this was going on, many of the Americans, including President Jefferson, thought that ending the external slave trade and dispersing the domestic slave population would keep the United States a white man's republic,
So-
and perhaps even lead to
This
the
is so
disappearance of slavery.
Because they can write
But-
one story.
No. What I'm saying is, like, it wasn't about abolishing the slavery to them. It was about abolishing the external slave trade and redistributing the internal slave trade, the domestic slave trade, especially after the purchase of the Louisiana Purchase.
But
Because France had a slave revolution from the Haitians.
so let's
The
go back to
Haitian
the slave
slave
concept. If
revolution.
you're a slave, okay, are you going to be a shitty
Hey,
slave
who built the
and
railroad?
be whipped and get beaten?
Who built the railroad?
Whoever the fuck wanted to live and make money. Okay, so think about
You
it.
know who
Who's
built?
building railroads now?
Hold up, man.
Who's building them now?
I'm talking about the
I know,
railroad.
because
the original
you think
railroad.
that somehow they had these slaves that were getting whipped and shit. No, think about
They
this.
brought the Chinese.
In the video I showed
They
you.
brought the Chinese over
Because
and
they
fucking
can draw all these things so that
boatloads, man.
people say this was happening. But here's what you got to realize:
So they were.
if you want a good worker, just like now, if a worker doesn't work good, they don't get shit. The
Okay.
good worker gets treated good. So the best workers got treated better. The better you work, the better you're gonna get treated.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
that's
mean,
just
they,
the fucking way of
they
the world.
showed that in the Django Unchained.
Because they want you to believe in all this shit. Dude, don't buy the movies, don't believe in all this shit. It's all to make people say, we're all separate. The white people thought less of the black people because they didn't before. They only do now because they were taught that was the way.
Scared of
And this is truth. You can look in all
Just kidding.
all these different countries, Africa, whatever, they have white and black tribes, all this shit back way before. And people could get along just fine. But then they tell us they don't. They said, oh yeah, the white people were more powerful because there was a certain group of white people that were smarter than they believe they're higher power
Where'd you
because they're
get
smarter.
this? Where'd you get this information?
Again, it's beyond your fucking, way beyond anything you
How is it way beyond this?
Because all you know, what you learned in school, you don't know how to know what you learned in the Bible, which you don't know. You don't know 10 fucking Talmud, and you're trying to tell me you know something? You say you don't know what the fucking Talmud is, and you're going to say, where do you learn this? Dude, I've
No,
researched so much
all I'm
stuff.
at, it's just based on like previous comments where he said like everything's wrong and everything's a lie.
No, all the mainstream, all the stuff that you're seeing, all the stuff they put out to the
What about
the-
history? I mean,
They told it, okay,
so like
his
World War
story,
II,
history is the word his story, okay, and everything, looking at etymology.
His story.
Right,
That's-
so the
that's a
winner
good-
always tells the story.
Yes.
So you've only learned what your government wants you to know, not what any other government would ever want you to know or anything. This is how, if you lived in another country, you would know the
So
same
how does the
same-
church fit into government? How does the church fit into
Same thing.
government?
Church is what keeps people believing in a government. So as long as you believe in
Wait,
God,
is it the church and the state supposed to be separate?
yes, but
How is the church keeping the people believing in the government? Because like
they always have every.
we're literally
But the presidents keep saying, "Oh, I'm Christian." They keep doing that. Because they really want everybody being Christian. They keep pushing the Christian thing.
Amanda, you are so right. We are all slaves in a sense, and we're gonna expand on that in just a second. I just want to hear the rest of his allegory here.
Alright.
I just totally ruined it for him. So, do you agree with Amanda when she says that we are all slaves?
Yeah, that's exactly what Kanye was saying. And they shut him down real quick on the mainstream. That's what they do purposely. Somebody speaks truth, the mainstream will just rip him apart and go, "Oh, this guy needs to learn his history. He doesn't know his history." Because then they go, all the regular people like you go, "Yeah, I know my history. I know news people." Because the news people know their history. I'll never look into it myself. I started looking into history and I go, "Oh, this shit's lies. Everything we learn is lies. Everything." Look into history because you only learned what they taught you in the schools without ever looking outside of that source. You have one source, which is your government school system, which is producing.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Hey, do you
What-
know,
let me
do you know
ask you-
what
hang on,
school
hang on.
system I was brought up
Let
in?
me ask you this.
It doesn't. If any of this school system.
Would it be fair to say then that money is colonizing life now instead of life colonizing life?
And what the fuck does that have anything?
What is it?
We're all slaves to the dollar. We're all slaves
I
to
know.
the economic
Everyone
industrial
give-
complex machine, the military industrial complex
No,
It
no,
is
machine.
the
Alright.
beast. Okay, that's the beast. We're
Wait,
all.
repeat what you just said. I just missed.
I said we're all like
No,
listen.
before. What is?
Okay, are we? Would it be fair to say at this point in time that we are being colonized? Life is being colonized by money versus life being colonized by life. Money's dictating how life is being colonized. Money's dictating how the
definitely.
poor is being run.
Well, I mean, like,
Money is dictating
definitely.
how.
Money.
you
People
know-
are gonna go wherever you can make money, where you
But
can
that's
have
the
a
point.
living.
So that's what you got to realize about money.
But
is-
money's not. Money is, as everybody says, money. I mean, we printed a bunch of shit out of nothing. We can't back it with gold. We can't back it with silver. We have
Then what
no
if you could?
nothing.
Who the fuck cares?
You
Well,
know,
that's gold or
we
silver.
trade off our birthrights and our birth certificates as bonds to different countries for foreign investment and trade tariff and everything else. So, like, at what point do we realize, okay, money's colonizing us? Think about it. Everything you do, everything you see, every app you have, every pop-up, everything is
Yeah,
about money.
everything's it's capitalism.
Yeah,
It's all about making money.
it is
But-
all about making money.
It's only about making money to those that worship money. And that's all the small people. And this is what I realized a while ago. You might not believe me now, but the rich people don't give a fuck about money. They don't need they don't need a dollar.
Because they have it.
That's what you think. That's what I'm saying. Donald Trump doesn't have a dollar to his fucking name. He doesn't need a dollar. He doesn't have to pay for a thing. He doesn't need anything, okay? They go, "Oh yeah, he's got this." It's all made up bullshit to all the small people. They go, "Oh yeah, we want to strive to be like that one day. We can have this numbers." But the powerful people that know the trick, which is just the illusion to trick the people, don't need money. Money is the illusion, and all the small people are worshiping it, and that's why they're all fighting each
How you
other.
doing, man? Money is an illusion, you're right. And Amanda, she's been talking about too. There is a big difference she highlighted. There's a difference between back then and now, the past and the present. For one, history is over. Just because they didn't write it correctly doesn't mean it's not over.
What does that mean?
Okay? History is over. It's
Oh,
only
no.
good for
Right.
lessons. That's it.
Oh
Period.
yes.
Okay.
But right now
History
they're
is
writing
over.
this. See, all the stuff
So-
that we know right now, they're putting in the history books too. for
Yeah, they're
later.
rewriting history as we speak.
They're making
The
up.
point of what I'm getting at is now, because of the technological advances and because of the research capability that is extended universally, all the stuff that's been in existence is just becoming more relevant to people because they can actually find it. You know what I'm saying?
If they seek it, they will find it. That's what it says. The truth is out there.
Or
That's what I've been
gold.
saying forever. The truth is out there.
Y'all
if you
need a
seek,
brownie?
you'll find.
Hell yeah, I need a brownie. Send it to me, please.
But if you only want to live in the matrix, if you want to stay ignorant, ignorance is bliss. You want to stay in the matrix.
It's not that bliss.
I know. That's what people think though.
Yeah.
And then once you're out of it, you go, whoa, this is way cooler. It's just
Next
like,
show, we're going to talk about natural rights because I think that's going to get confused a lot with, especially when it comes to constitutional rights and the Bill
Well, why
of
do we
Rights
care
and
about constitutional rights?
ramifications.
I don't even understand that. It doesn't make no sense to me why we would care what somebody wrote hundreds of years ago. It makes no sense.
All right. Well, that's cool. That's going to be something we'll talk about next time for sure.
We out?
No, I mean, okay, so if it makes no sense, then did the Constitution give Hamilton the right to create the National Reserve?
No.
So,
Nobody has
but,
no
but it's
right.
based off. It's based off of those that the Constitution. It's based off all the ratifications in the Federalist Papers.
Of these
So-
powerful people that decide what the hell
Oh,
they're
these
going to do.
powerful group that came
They're
up
going
with
to
shit.
decide what they're going to do to the peasants. It's not up to us at
So they
all.
were obviously much smarter than us, and we were like, "Hey, y'all smart, y'all figure it
That's the
out."
funny thing is, I'm as smart as them, but you're not. That's why you can't see it.
So,
if
Guy,
you see, it, you go, yeah, these guys are fucking. Now I see what they're
Smarter.
doing.
I mean, I'll say that I'm not the smartest.
But
I'll
you
agree
could.
with
All you gotta
that.
do is wake up and say, no, I see these guys have been playing me all along.
I've been playing.
Right.
Dude, you have been. We've
Boom.
all been played.
Who's played me?
The system. If you were in the military, you were played. Okay, bottom line.
I don't know, man.
Sorry to all you military guys, but you were played for somebody else's objective.
We already know that what we were doing is following orders for somebody,
Right.
Yeah.
somebody else.
someone else.
We're aware. We're fully fucking aware.
But to
We
say you're
all
doing it for
know.
your country is bullshit. Because your country
At the
is.
time,
because-
there was a belief that it was for our country.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
the difference.
It's what that person said stood for our country. So the president saying you need to do this
Right.
is the same thing to us saying that guy is in charge of our country, so that guy is telling us what to
And
do
that's
about
brainwashed.
your country.
You were totally brainwashed. Because
So-
I don't give a fuck who's in charge of what piece of area. If he tells me what to do, I'll be like, wait, I'm going to be able to decide myself if it's good or bad. I don't need to listen to this fucking asshole. I don't
But-
care who the
but
fuck
what
it
if-
is
what if-
somebody says he's in charge of.
What if you don't know of the whole situation?
Then you say, I don't know what the fuck's going on here. I'm staying the fuck out.
That's
You don't
why
go, hey, oh, you tell me to go do
That's
this?
why you
Yes,
didn't-
sir.
That's why you didn't join the military. You go find
Because
out.
I was too smart.
You never found
And
out.
it's not to be insulting
You
you guys.
never,
I'm
you
sorry.
never
I
found
know.
out what's on the other side of that curtain.
He said because I was too
No,
smart to join the
I'm
military.
sorry for that, because I was actually going to join it.
There,
What
there
happened
was a
was-
lot of people like
that
myself
was
who
insulting.
didn't have an option. Well, no, I shouldn't say didn't have an option. I had an option. Had I had chosen the first option and not gone into the military, I'd have ended up in jail with HIV and some other addiction like my mother.
Wait, that's not
So-
true. That's only an assumption. You have no idea.
It's a pretty good assumption.
But you don't know.
You-
See,
you know what?
instead of
You're right.
making-
You're
Instead of
right
making
to-
a military
to an
decision,
extent.
you could have said, I want to be a
But-
Christian. You could have said, I want to be a Muslim. You
I
could have
looked
any
at
life-changing
my
thing.
statistics at the time from my mindset, and that's the choice I made at the
I'm
time with
saying
the
there's nothing
knowledge
wrong
I
with
was given.
But I'm saying there's all kinds of ways
So-
to change your life.
Well,
guys.
There
I
is,
mean,
there is,
there's
and
all
there's all
sorts of
kinds of
what
ways
ifs.
to change your
Right.
perspective as
But I'm
well.
not against anybody doing it that has done it. I'm saying anybody that is in the military
But-
should say, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
What I will
because
tell
it's
you
not
is-
acceptable.
A lot of
What I
people
will
get
tell
it.
you is that my portion of the military, there was a point during my military service where the whole dream and the idea of what I thought America was and what I thought I was serving was fucking shattered. Straight up. So I'll say that.
Right, because I was going to go in the military. I actually went through the whole Marine, went through the recruitment thing. I had all the paperwork about done. My brother was in the Marine Corps, and I told him I was going. He was like, "Oh, dude, don't. He's
Don't
like, this
do
is
it."
fucking stupid, man." He's like, and
So we
so I'm
all
so
say.
glad I got out. But I didn't realize then what I know now, and realize that the military is what's been running the world. It's not.
Yeah.
But see, they're the pirates. That's why they use the pirate flag. These are the pirates that loot and pillage everyone. And you were part of that. You're a pirate. And the military people don't
And
know
why
that.
can
So-
I be okay with it with the military, but in like any other sense, I'm like, no, it's wrong. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Right. So you have to see it's not. That's what they convince us. And I see it's because since we were children, I go to buy toys for my kid, and they put military toys over by the cars, military toys by these things. They put military toys all over. This is all strategic to get kids to think military is good and cool, and they pump them up on the TV. Oh, thank.
Well, how are they gonna have kids join a military if they don't know
Right,
it's cool?
because they don't want anybody to know this is all you are just are killing machines. That's why you are sold dyers, soldiers are sold dyers. Okay, you're sold to go die.
Yeah, we're
They're
all
fucking-
expendable.
Right.
We're all
They don't give
aware.
a fuck, and you go, oh, I'm doing it for my country. No, you're doing it for these people that want to take what they want. They don't give a shit about me. They don't give a shit about you or anybody
Yeah,
else.
of course they don't care about you
So-
personally.
No, they
You're-
don't care about this place. They care about their personal gain, whatever their agenda is. Has no fucking care about the people here. And that's, dude.
You know what? I'm glad you're saying that because, like, Amanda's saying here, that, you know, she says, I have a saying, let your things control you or you control you. It's up to you. I've lived off the grid and lived in a $500,000 home. I was happier living off the grid. Just saying. I would say I'd be happier living off the grid too, Amanda. Because it is a servitude of slavery to the economic system and every other system that's going on with this fake paper money and all that shit. and you have to, you get rated on a fictitious credit score.
But what if we could see
You know what I'm
past
saying?
either of those two?
Huh?
What if we could see past either of those two ways? Which I see is we all come together and we're all become equal, where the rich aren't rich anymore, the poor aren't poor, but we all can have nice shit. Everybody can have nice cars. Everybody can have nice houses. We can all have nice shit. We don't have to go off the fucking
Who's
grid.
gonna make the nice shit?
The people that are doing it now. And they do it because they get everything else too. We all work together and we go, hey, there's
If we're
people.
all making all the nice shit, when are we gonna have time to go?
When do you have time to do it now?
I don't.
Right. So what I'm saying is, the people that like doing what they do can go do it. People that don't like doing what they're doing, why are they doing it? For money, so they can survive. Well, if they didn't have, if they didn't
Which
have the
is
money,
the entirety of the slave system.
right? But there's plenty of food and plenty of everything for the people that don't have money. But it's they say, oh, if you're not producing, if you're not a worker ant,
This is a good point brought up too by Amanda. She says money controls everything. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
No, that's true.
Manipulation equals media. What do you think about that, Chris?
I will totally agree with that.
Why do you say that? What experience have you had that would lead you to that conclusion?
To believe that it's who you know, not what you know.
Yeah.
I'm dumb as shit, and I know you, and I'm on the radio. There you go. There you go.
That's a good point.
that's what I'm saying.
I don't think
You
you're
have
dumb
to
as
have money
shit,
at all.
but
I
If
know.
you're
I'm
born
just
into
saying.
royalty, do you think you ever touch a dollar bill or any money?
Well, of course not. You're
Right.
no, yeah, people
So
like
why
to
do you
ask
think
for
that these
you.
rich ass people have money? They don't need money. The fucking poor peasants worship them. They beg them to give them a fucking piece of bread. And they all go, oh, thank you for our handouts. You are helping us. Thank you for our military for protecting us from our
Yeah, we're
from
still
our
here, John.
uh,
In a minute.
invisible
Oh, you
neighbors.
just made 100 million?
Whatever.
What? You're gonna have to send some of that. You send some of those. I'll send some Dig Liberty T-shirt and a hat. That's awesome. John, we're still here. We've been getting deep. We've gone from slavery to biblical stuff. Yes, of course you can hit that. Hey, and I'm gonna promote it because you know that is Cure Leaf. Cure Leaf is awesome. I go there. They got a good dispensary. They got decent vape cartridges. I've been to Vitacan. They got great Vitacan's great cartridges. Or vape cartridges are amazing. I'll say that much. Cure Leaf stuff is really good. They got great capsules there. Very friendly staff. Very knowledgeable. Everything is pretty awesome. I'll tell you what. It's I'll tell you what. Sound like Hank Hill.
Damn it, bro.
But I'm glad you came back, John. We've been talking about a lot of stuff here. We've been talking about slavery. We've been talking about the Constitutional Convention.
I was
We've
gonna
been
say,
talking about
didn't I say
deal-
John's gonna pipe in here?
yeah,
in just a second?
he is going to pipe in. He piped in with y'all there. We talked about the French riots. We talked about the dirty deeds of the Constitutional Convention. We've talked about how the slave trade was basically a leveraging chip
Think
to.
about slave trade and football players being traded. What the fuck's the difference? I mean, seriously, what is the difference?
That is a good point. What could you draw a difference between a slave trade and NFL free agents being traded on the market? Again, money. Yes,
They're
it comes
workers.
to
They're,
money.
Yeah.
they're workers. They're being traded, and most of them are black, but some of them are white. Probably like all slaves back in the day. The black ones are usually probably the better workers, the more powerful, stronger ones. They might have been better slaves to trade, but I don't think that these people
they
that were actually
probably
slave
were.
traders, I don't think
Us
they cared
white
about
people
color.
got
It's like I don't
lazy.
care.
No, they didn't care about color.
Right,
They
I don't
probably
think they would
I mean,
enslave any one of us
Zebras and
people.
gazelles and trying to keep up with
But
fucking
the
cheetahs.
high, the
Of course their genetics are better than ours, Jesus.
why you think? Oh, because they told you they're from Africa. You don't think they could have been possibly running wild here?
I'm fucking
Only
around.
running wild out in Africa?
Again, with the seriousness.
Well,
Well,
I
it's
think
Shit's
it's
getting
serious, man.
deep here
People
with the
think
dick.
people think that stuff.
the dick's getting too deep.
That'll never happen. Anyway, yes, it does come down to the
We
money.
need, you need to do a longer show than an hour or however long you do.
Well, right now I've been letting it ride because we just keep talking
Yeah,
and talking,
we're-
and
we
we're
have-
well
we
over an
still have
hour.
listeners?
So, yeah, we're still getting comments, we're still getting interaction. We got new comments coming on. It
So,
comes
okay,
under
do
the
you
money.
think we all come from Africa? Do you believe that bullshit
No,
story?
no, man.
Okay, I was wondering. I'm wondering what you
Hey,
believe.
hey, okay, so I want to ask you this there, guy. Amanda is asking, who needs the constitutional rights when you have corporations and entities?
Well, who needs any rights given by another person? That's what I don't understand. Why do we need anything
So
written
can you
down?
describe the difference between natural rights and human rights?
Yeah, okay, well, we all know what's right, and that's what's right. Those are our rights, okay? This is where the words come from.
I say what it is I say.
But
That's
where
what
these
I
words come from. That's why they
say.
say, these are your rights, okay? These are what's right. That's where these words come from, okay? So this is what's right, and we all know what's right. We all know what's wrong. But some of us have not accepted the knowledge, okay? I don't like this music, it's cheesy.
Why? It's too cheesy for the rightness of
Yeah.
your
Does it-
speech?
Does it bother you?
No, it's just cheesy.
Okay, go ahead.
But
Is this
if
more-
you
is
know
it
what's
better
right and
than that?
wrong, you don't need laws. You don't need somebody to tell you what you can and can't do. That's for children. That's
So
what I realized.
there aren't-
Santa Claus for children and
So-
laws are for
So
children.
there aren't bad people out there that go, man, I
So-
really just.
but
wanna
did you
like
know that part of natural rights is me? If I think I have the right to take your land, I just take it, and that's considered a natural right.
But that's not right. Okay, that's not
Okay,
right.
that's a natural right.
No,
that is a
but what I'm saying,
natural
we
right.
all know what's right and what's so rights are rights.
If it's
So-
a natural right, and I'm in an area
But you
and I
know,
claimed my
wait,
land,
But I'm saying you know within your own mind,
Okay.
within your own soul and your own being.
you're right. Okay, I know, but if I know you're weaker than I am, and I know I can take
But
you
that's
down,
greed. That's
then
them
it's my
getting,
natural right to take
getting
your land.
taken over by the dark side. But once, if we can all come to the light, you'll see that no one would say, hey, I'm going to take your land. You would say, hey, that's cool land you got there. What can we, whatever.
Well,
We
listen,
share or-
like John says, the Constitution does not give you your rights. It defines your natural rights. It's a contract between you as a person and the people and the government that basically runs the
A
people.
contract is a tract for you to be conned with.
And they put you in a place not to violate those rights and not to infringe on those rights, but the Bill of Rights and the Declaration of Independence are all included in that. So it's basically a social contract is what
So
he's
like,
saying.
I'm not saying that they even say bad things, okay? I'm not saying that the Ten Commandments say bad things. I'm saying, why does anyone, adult human, now I understand children being taught these things to be
Yes,
good
military
kids.
life
But
is way different.
now once we get to be adults,
Way different.
we're adult humans, okay? We don't need
Mm-hmm.
another human to tell us what's
I
right
don't
and
know if
wrong.
I'm gonna die. I feel like I'm 14.
That's what I'm saying. This is the problem. Is too many adults have not grown up yet. I did, and so I said,
You don't think
"Fuck!" I'm just trying to wake everybody else up to say,
What?
No,
You don't think I'm grown up?
not yet.
Hey, Dick,
Ooh.
do you think? Or wait, is Dick
Dick
a,
is way more.
wait, let me finish. Is Dick awake? Is Dick awake?
I think so. We haven't talked
Dick,
very
are
much.
you
I
awake?
think so.
I'm awake. I'm
You're
wide the
awake.
fuck awake.
You're wide
I
awake?
think he knows what I'm talking
Why
about, but I don't know.
awake?
I don't know if he. I don't know where his thoughts are because he's one of those guys that listens. Kind of like Irvin doesn't tell much what he thinks, but.
Oh, he thinks he's got me figured out.
No, I'd like you to tell me what you think. So we'll let that talk. Maybe next time.
Maybe next
Or we
time.
can do it now.
Maybe next time.
If there's listeners, I'm down.
I mean, there's always listeners, and it's not about. I mean, listen, Amanda says good. Everyone wants more and more and more. I think we've created ourselves an instant on-demand society because we got on-demand fucking Dish Network, we got on-demand movies, we got on-demand apps, we got on-demand fucking Grubhub, we got on-demand fucking. I can buy my car through an app on the fucking internet on demand. Like, get the fuck out of here. Why the fuck?
Okay, so you're
You know,
making a
I don't get
perfect
this.
point, dude. That's exactly right. That's
You,
the whole problem.
you know what I'm
Everybody
saying?
wants
Like,
more.
everybody's a fucking, I want more, I want it now, it's my goddamn right. Let me fucking download my app that I get from the Play Store and order my car because it's my goddamn right to do so. Bang.
Wait,
got my
I
car.
believe there was a commercial out there. It's my money and I want it now.
Yeah. It's my money and I want it now.
Why is
My
everybody
money and I
wrong?
want it now.
Point being, you stopped growing up a long time ago, you're growing out like me. Okay. That's
What's
cool. John's saying, you know, we've stopped growing up a long time ago. We're growing out like him. And I think that's a good valid point because when you look at every reference to knowledge, every reference to the tree of life, everything has to do with the root system and the expansion and the ever connectivity of that system.
But there is a
So-
conscious or a real effort being done to keep people from
Waking up.
waking
Yes,
up and
I
not
agree with you
going
100%. You have censorship, you have blocking, you have all
let's-
kinds of stuff.
Let's
And it's
think
been from the
about
beginning,
it.
since the
Propaganda.
Romans.
Doesn't it make sense though?
Why?
Well, okay.
I mean, it makes sense for those who are in control and who are in
Yeah,
power.
that's what I'm
obviously.
talking about. Doesn't it make sense to
But-
want
But
people
what
to be on your
once you wake
side?
up,
And let me
it's
say
Like
this
if
too.
you're in
Let me-
control.
Let me say this too. Remember last week when we had that discussion with John and I was like, hey, if I came to your house and invited you to Washington right now, would you go with me? And he said, I don't know what good it would do. Yeah. You saw the Paris riot stories? Those Paris
The
riot
French government
stories.
is backing
Guess
down
what?
on this planned
What good
fuel
did it
tax
do?
hike that
What
sparked
good
violent
did it do?
protests all across
It's
It got them to it got them to quit with the fuel excise tax because you had everybody in Paris starting up with the.
You have to understand.
So-
please get this.
No.
They wanted to do this
Listen.
on their own, so they
I'll
put all
believe
these
that.
strange
I mean-
things. They put strange
I mean,
things
think
out
about
there.
the body cams and the police. Nothing would have happened if they didn't protest it.
It's all set up so they can do this, so they can push these things through and say we're doing it because we're forced to.
No,
That's what they want. They want everybody to believe whatever
Listen,
laws
they're
they're
probably
passing
doing it because the people are standing up and
No,
going,
this is
"Hey,
why-
fucking look at it," and they're like, "Holy shit!" The people are standing up and going,
No.
"Maybe we should look at it. We need to make it a big deal."
This is why they tore down the statues over in North Carolina or something.
Hey, wait, I'm not talking about that. I'm
All the
talking
things
about
with
just
protests.
Paris specifically because it's the yellow vest protesters, right? They had they okay. It may very well be. I'm not saying it's not, but just listen to what I'm telling you right now. 70% of the populace of France supports the protesters. The president-elect, the president who became president in April, his ratings are down to 23%. So now he said, you know what, no more tax. So if it is a distraction, what distraction would it be that
No, it's not a distraction. It's how they get things passed through that they normally couldn't do. They say they want everyone to feel like it's the people's choice. So when they push the gun laws through, they want all the
I'm
people.
not
to protest-
disagreeing with any of that. I'm asking about Paris, France specifically.
Everything they put on the news, if they put it on the news, it is to convince you that what they are telling you is what's going on, and it never is. We are in the Truman Show, people. They are completely. This is 100%.
So what if I told you, okay, the whole Paris thing wasn't about the fuel tax, according to John.
You're
It was
talking about
about
the country.
shut up.
Is this the country?
It was about the government oppressing the people and the Department of Children and Family kidnapping their children. Social media is lying
Right, and
to
they
us.
keep pushing this on everybody. So that's why I'm not really buying this either. They're pushing this big time on all the truth community, and I'm not buying it because I personally, I don't want to ever come across anybody, but I haven't yet come across anybody that's actually had a kid missing. But you hear about it. You said you went and found somebody that was,
You
it
said
took
it
off on her
so
own. It took off on her own, but that's different. I'm talking what they're saying about all these missing children everywhere and all these things are going on. They're pushing it big time, and I'm saying something. If they're pushing it,
trafficking is not funny.
I didn't say it's funny.
I'm just joking.
So no, you're not joking, but like
It's about
he's
human
saying that
trafficking.
the all the children missing and everything else isn't exactly about that. So what is
What?
it?
Yeah.
I'm
What,
saying we don't know
what is it
what's
exactly
going
about?
on, if anything, and so all we know is what they tell us on the news. And I start going, well,
So what you're saying is that we shouldn't be looking for people who have gone missing. We
no,
should be looking at
shouldn't.
other stuff because it doesn't take all of our time to go
Oh
look
yeah,
for
yeah.
a
You should go
family.
look for somebody gone missing. I mean, if it's your friend, sure. If it's somebody you know is missing, sure. If it's somebody you hear on the news, no.
Okay, let me clarify real quick. So Amanda commented and she said people are not taught, or people are taught now to follow trends, not to have a mind of their own. You're very right.
I'll agree with that.
We definitely agree with that. John is saying we're not talking about the missing children. We're talking about the government agencies coming in and taking the children at gunpoint and putting them in foster care and worse situations.
Oh, from where?
From all over the United States. You got parents dealing with this all the time. You have people being called in from CPS. There's government contracts that CPS and state agencies make
Well, here's
a
what-
lot of
okay.
money per kid to take into the
Now,
foster home.
Okay,
Now hold on.
So that's what he's talking about.
this could be. I hear what you're talking about. Now, I think what a lot of this is, and this is what I do believe, is they do probably have to take some kids from people that are bad parents, okay? But most of the stories.
It's happening to a lot of parents who are not bad.
But what I'm saying is, I think a lot of the stories we hear on the news are scare tactic stories. So they tell us these things so the parents are making sure they're being good. It's like it's a scare tactic to make sure parents are good to their kids so that they don't.
Hey y'all, be good parents, and they're gonna take your kids.
Okay, because
How is that a
I'm gonna
bad
tell
thing?
you. No, because parents go, I don't care. But if they see on the news, oh, these parents that really aren't that bad are having their kids to have these people come fuck with them.
Yeah,
But here's the thing.
yeah.
They don't want to mess with people's kids. They don't
That
want.
makes sense.
They don't want to mess with it if they don't have to. But
I
they'll
mean,
put out
even into a
these
state,
news stories.
They could just like make that, like put a bunch of movies out about kids going missing and the
That's what I'm
government
saying.
taking them,
You do
and
all
it
these.
scare them enough to just be good parents.
That's what I'm saying. You do all these scare tactics to get people to do good things because they know fear is what drives people's.
Hey, why are you a good parent?
Hang on,
Because
I gotta
I-
interject right here. John says this guy has no idea what's going on. It's not his fault. He's gonna educate you with time. Amanda said, he is so right. It's not just CPS. Money talks. My ex was granted an ex parte with an open assault and open FBI investigation. Is there any way you can invite me on? I don't know. Let me. I got it set up. You can try and see. Hang on. Can I invite him on right now?
John, right
Yeah.
now? Let's do it.
Actually, I can bring you on a phone call, John. Give me one sec. Hand me that thing right there. I gotta see.
This?
Yeah, no, this cord right here. This little clip. Yeah.
This one
No,
here?
that one.
Damn it,
Yeah.
sorry. It doesn't really reach.
Okay, well,
Hold up, let me.
let's see what we can do here.
Yeah,
Ooh,
you're.
Hey, John, call 386-400-2244 or 4022. Wait, hang on. Let me go check my number. I don't see this number all the time, so I have to check it. Okay, yeah, 386-400-2244. If you want to call into the show, call 386-400-2244.
Okay, so what is he saying wrong about?
This is great. I love open-minded debates. You know, I'm glad you do, Amanda, because that's what we're all about here. And
What am I wrong about?
is there any?
And
I
here's
don't know
the
if I can
great-
invite you on right now,
Here's
John.
the greatest thing: we can all like have a beer afterwards and get
Or
along, or even
Yeah,
during.
and even during, exactly right.
I think there's.
But yeah, this is okay.
Okay.
Amanda says I've never had any addictions, no DUI, no drug charges, and I work for a very respected hospital. It's all about the money. Yes, it is all about the money. So go ahead. What do you
See, I
got?
used to have addictions.
Well, I mean, I was
Wasn't
just gonna
looking for
say, like, what is? I'm confused what not having any addictions or DUI or drug charges
We've been
has to do with.
well because we were talking about the open FBI investigation, ex parte, open assault. That Amanda mentioned, and because
okay.
based off of John's comment that this guy has no idea what's going on, not his fault. I will educate him. That's
Which
what
guy
we're-
are we talking about?
He's talking
We're
about-
probably talking about guy.
Hey, you got a
I
phone
don't
call, buddy.
know. Okay, here we go.
Let's answer that.
Yeah, answer that.
Answered.
Hello?
John, are you there?
Hey, it's John, man.
Hey, what's up,
Hey,
man?
We're gonna turn you up, buddy. We can hardly
Another
hear you.
beautiful day in paradise.
Another beautiful day.
Child trafficking rings.
Hey, man, how's everything going?
We talk about child trafficking
Go
ring.
ahead.
The largest child trafficking ring in the United States is the United States government.
There
You will
you go.
never hear about it in the news because it's protected by the government. They control the news.
That's
You
what
will
I'm
never
saying.
have a law enforcement agency protect the child from these kidnappers because they are the muscle that is kidnapping the children. This is all sanctioned. We have thousands of courthouses, family courthouses in the United States, thousands of judges, and they are all kidnapping children every day out of good homes, good children, out of good homes, and destroying them. Okay, this is a weapon of mass destruction that's deployed in America for decades. It's only getting worse every day. In fact, President Trump just gave the Department of Children and Families double their budget almost.
Makes me nervous.
The largest increase in the Department of Children and Families ever. That means they're going to be kidnapping twice as many children this year.
Hey.
People are already noticing the effects
Hey,
of it.
hey, John, can you tell us how much money they get per child that they take in, please?
It could be anywhere from, the bottom could be anything, but it can go up to $1 million. They can get up to $1 million, and that's only what they get from the government, grants and things for the
How do you know
child.
that?
They could also traffic the child out for sex and make all kinds of
How do you
money.
know that?
Hey, John, can you hang on a second? Because we got a question being asked by Guy and Chris saying, how do you know that, how much they get for the people and up to $1 million?
Okay, there's a lot of different programs they get paid for, a lot of things they're doing to get paid for. And they've made over $1 million on some of these kids.
Yeah, but I'm
not
saying,
kidding.
how do you
And
know?
that's
Where's
also
your
parents
where's
putting
your
money,
evidence?
fighting for their. There's government grants that they get
so many thousands for each thing. They keep the case going for.
Yeah, that's cool. We all heard these things. But
He's asking you where is your evidence? Where could he find the evidence to look for himself? I mean, I have Amanda saying that you're correct, and her investigation has been my investigation remains open because they do not want to prosecute the cops involved. It's 48K. The people are worth double, and these children are worth double if they have disabilities. Is that true too?
Yeah, well, you can get Social Security checks from someone that has disabilities, but I think they're more interested in getting the blue-eyed and blonde-haired kids because those are the ones that sex traffic the best for the elites.
Okay.
Look, man, it's a nasty thing going on. Look, if you need proof, if you don't want to check it out for yourself, go look for it.
Okay, the thing is,
on the internet. There's not going to be any government proof
but
saying that, hey, look,
but
look at
my
that
question
kid.
to you, can you hear me? My question to you is, it's not that I wouldn't look into it. I'm asking you, where are you getting your evidence? Because I've looked for evidence on this stuff because I hear all this shit too, and I can't find any evidence. And that's when I say, I don't know if it's true. You can tell me this all day long. Where are you getting your evidence?
Okay, I'm a victim of it 15 years ago.
So where were you? How were you
My
trafficked?
children being kidnapped out of my home 15 years ago at gunpoint. And let me tell you something. You think you can protect your children when the police come in, guns drawn in hand, bulletproof vests on, to take your children? There is nothing you can do
Now,
unless you're ready to fight the whole
now-
United States by yourself.
Okay, why
And
would
that
it,
is not something anybody is ready to do.
why did they take him?
Yeah,
Why
John,
did they
I
take him?
don't mean to be. Yeah, I'm kind of on board with Guy on this one. I don't mean to
Yeah,
sound
okay, I can
crude
tell you
or
right.
Well, a simple question. Why
or
would I?
mean. Why? What
Wait,
happened?
said that my son had cigarette burn on his back, had a cigarette burn on his back. And I held him down and burnt him with a cigarette. This is what they said. Then, after they said it, they took him to their doctor. Okay? And the mother did this, by the way, started the whole thing. Then they had to go to the CPS doctor.
Okay, so this is the wife doing this shit.
That's
This isn't what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
this
how he
isn't
got it.
the
He got it running through the tunnel at Burger King, running up the tunnel. He scraped his back right there, spine, a little.
But so they took him from you. Then what happened? Then they took him from you for
So-
Did
that.
they drop the case after that? No. They kept lying and they kept adding more lies.
Then where'd he go?
And at the end of it all,
Where's your children?
Where'd he go now? Where'd he go from there?
Yeah.
They want to know where your
Dude, I
son went
went
from
through
there, or where your child
2.5
went from there.
years of court. 2.5 years of court for the judge to tell me that everything they did was wrong to me and my family, and we're going to forgive them
Yeah,
for their
but-
crimes against me and my family.
That's because your wife was a big
And,
liar, but it wasn't
grounds-
because the cops were kidnapping your kid. It was because your wife was a liar, and she convinced them you were abusing him. It's not
Yeah.
because they were out to kidnap your kid. That's why I said, where's the proof of this? That has nothing to do with proof of child trafficking. It's a really bad example,
It
John.
takes
Sorry.
a long time for me to explain to you everything that
That's a
happened.
bad example. Bottom line.
Where did he? Did we find out?
It's not a bad example if you want to hear the whole case, but
That's
I
not
mean,
child
you gotta
trafficking,
see it
your
from
wife
the
taking
court.
him.
Where's your son at?
My son, right now he's in the Army.
Okay, so
He
he's.
grew up with a social path.
Where did your son grow up after this incident happened 15 years ago?
Apparently went
Oh, this all happened in America, Florida.
Right, but where did your child grow up? Where did your son grow up? So you said
He
15
grew
years
up with the
ago.
mother. He grew up with the mother.
With his mom.
This isn't child trafficking, sorry.
Yeah, this is your wife going against.
Sorry, John. This isn't child trafficking. We should probably go to the next caller if there's any more.
Well, he's basically saying that not that child trafficking doesn't exist because we know that it does exist, but I think that the consensus between Crazy Chris
Oh, no.
and Guy is
I
that your
understand.
specific example is not an example of child trafficking.
You understand, I had to make a lot of decisions back then,
Right.
okay? I knew the mother was a bad place for my kids to be. I knew this.
I
And
could
knew
have my
the
kid
dangers
taken from
would
me
be
too.
there. I couldn't protect them. But the option was for the state to put them in state care. So I kept my mouth shut about the mother,
Right.
you know?
Okay. Well, we got. What do you think about Amanda? Amanda says she's been in a fight for 4 years. She has to pay $100 for 2 hours with her child over a simple complaint. She's been in a fight for 4 years. Has no lawyer. Hired a lawyer, and guess what? She's winning because she had to fire the lawyer. And She told me to reference the 1997
So where's the
Bill
child?
Clinton Family First Act to read it. Have you referenced that act? Are you familiar with it there,
No.
John?
Yeah, I do. I'm familiar with all of those acts and everything going on, but dude.
Can you tell us a little bit about that one specifically?
Incentives to kidnap children. That's what caused it. They give money incentives to kidnap the children.
But
to
I'm
keep
with you on
children
that.
and keep
There's
them
not the
in
boogeyman out there, that's for certain.
Okay.
It's like $500,000 in that alone, with that act alone. But there's other areas they make more money too.
Well, I believe you, man. I know I've heard about it quite a bit. I know there's a few people out there who are been advocating against this hardcore. I know Mr. Michael Gill's been out there. I know Angela Ward's been out there. I know that you know, even people who I'm not really entirely sure about, like David Jose and other people who have been out there, you know, trying to fight this battle. And it's kind of sad
How's the best way
that
to fight the battle?
some people well, I think that personally, I think it's sad and it's been
No, I'm
a
asking, what's the
pathetic.
best way to fight the battle?
Well, for one, you need to get people out of it who are the commodores of corruption and the pirates of nonprofits
No.
because they're raping
I'll
people
tell
of
you
money.
the simplest way to
The other thing is to bring the people together and actually go to get it done.
not even do anything. Parents have to watch their kids. That's all it is. That's all this is about, is getting parents to watch their fucking kids and take care of their kids and make sure their kids are
You're
safe.
so wrong, dude. Dude, I'm sorry you're so wrong and you're gonna offend a lot of people talking like that.
I'm not talking about what happened to
you.
you. I'm talking about this movement on getting all this public about this child trafficking is to get parents to grab onto their children and cherish their children because that's what they're supposed to be doing, but they haven't been doing it for fucking years. So they go, well, the only fucking way we can get people to do that is by making them think that they're getting fucking napped up and fucking raped and killed and all this shit that we're learning about. And I go, dude, this sounds so fucking crazy. And I'm one that believes in a lot of this fucking truth or shit, but I'm going, this shit isn't adding up because it just doesn't make sense. And I'm asking you, where's your proof? And you say, because your wife took your kid. That's nothing like what we're talking about. We're talking about something way
Okay, you don't
beyond that.
understand the whole situation. I'm sorry, but
What's the whole
sometime,
situation,
you
man?
will.
He's
I
in the
hope
army
one day.
now. I'm not, dude.
No, that's not what he's saying. Chris was asking what's the whole situation behind it. If you feel like telling, if not, I understand.
No, it's okay.
He's gonna try to make up something else to make it fit.
You wanna know how my wife ended up with the kids and how I ended up with it first?
Well, I think that's what he wants to know because, like, I think more or less he's trying to figure out the correlation between your case and child trafficking. I know that there have been a lot. There is child trafficking going
Like,
on. There's a
I'll
lot of
agree
sex
with you
trade
if you
trafficking
can put a
going on.
point there, but if you
He's
can't
the
put a,
same system to take my kids away and kidnap my kids from me and alienate me from my kids as they use to kidnap kids outright from homes.
right,
They
wives
use the same-
wives do that all the
use the
time,
same
is they say that their
organization
husband's
in-
beating their children.
That's
what they
understandable,
do.
but your particular case has nothing to do with the child trafficking thing I'm asking about your proof. You can say that the cops came and took your kid because your wife lied about you, but you can't tie that to child trafficking.
I'm sorry, I feel like the cops should be able to come and take children away if the parents are beating the crap out of them and leaving bruises
the
and,
problem
and
is,
leaving cigarette
yes, I'm
burns
with
or
you.
whatever else happens.
problem
Yeah,
is-
that's
lies,
true, but
lies can make it happen. That's
there's
the
so
problem.
many people
but-
who make false accusations who've completely ruined
Oh, yeah,
the
no.
initial
Yes, I mean,
established.
in all honesty,
I
the little
feel
children are way
safety.
too important. Little children are way too important to be allowing a parent to abuse them.
Yes.
So if there's evidence of abuse, they should say, you know what, we gotta get this innocent little being away from this abuser. Now, if you didn't abuse, then you say, wait, you got the wrong fucking guy, man.
Okay.
Hey, dude, I didn't do this.
All right, I got another chime in. This one is from Amanda, and it says, I think what he referring to John was trying to say is that the child trafficking is between the family court and the CPS, and how they are gaining federal funding is by taking children from fit parents to make money off of other fit parents that fight for their children.
My whole question is, I keep seeing these things, but I say, how and when or where are they doing this? Why are these people getting involved with fit parents? So there has to be some reason that these people are even being called on.
I'm gonna give you your answer. I'll
I mean,
give you your
there's so
answer.
many
The
parents
elites
that
that own
abandon
this
their
country,
kids
that own the
in
world,
hospitals.
it is a weapon. They are deploying on us. It is mass destruction. It is destroying the family unity all over the world. It's not only happening in the United States, it's happening over there too.
But I'm saying, what if
That's
it's to
why
bring
it's
more
crazy.
unity?
But America's too stupid to riot. Okay?
Ah.
We're too
kidnap
We
the
just
kids
stay
to
down.
control the
No,
Because
say
we're
they're
most of the
kidnapping
TV
kids.
tied to us.
Not really kidnap them. You
Oh.
say you are. Not in this guy's situation, because his kid wasn't kidnapped.
No.
In the real, they put on the news, kids are getting kidnapped to get people to, like I said, take care of their kids more.
Be good parents.
Yes, it's
Oh, you
reverse
know what?
psychology.
Hey, it works.
Right.
You wanna know what I
It's
said?
made me.
Is that
It's
right?
made me way more.
Hang on, guys. John's got something to say. What do you got to say? Go ahead.
I went to every single news station that we had. I went to every single newspaper I could. I went to every state representative I could. I went to everybody in government that I could. I went to every law enforcement agency
And
that exists in this country that would try to get some help because I had all the evidence here. Look, I've never even spanked my kid. But once in his entire life, and he's 9 years old now, and I've only spanked him once, and that's back when he was 4, because he asked me to, because he didn't want to hear my lecture.
Right, John, but they're not gonna look at what you're
That was a whole
saying.
other joke.
You're already
Did
they're
you-
not gonna believe you.
did
You're
you
already
talk
the
to the
bad guy.
crazy wife?
Well, here,
You know what they all told me?
what's that?
We don't get involved.
Yeah.
Every
Well,
single one place
I-
just-
I'll tell you this.
we
What
don't
do you guys think about this? Okay, John, hang on a second. What do you think about this?
I'm not saying
And
it's fair.
this includes you too, guy. Amanda has written in and said hers was taken. Her child was taken at 3 a.m. with no warrant and no cause. And it was CPS who came in and took her child. What do you say to that? What?
Well, what,
I mean, I guess the first question would be why?
We
Why?
need more info. Yeah, like what the whole.
There's
story
got to
is
be
and-
more story behind
Yeah,
that. Like,
I mean,
what was
something
the
backing it.
like? Amanda, you said there was a sorry, Amanda, you said there was a simple complaint against you. What was that simple complaint that got CPS to come in at 3 a.m. and take your child away?
No, she said no CPS.
Or no CPS or whoever took your child to come in at 3
Yeah,
a.m.
well, I mean, there has to be more to the story.
I mean, there has to be more to that.
So it was just a federal kidnapping? I'm guessing?
I mean, and now you say you pay $100 to see your child.
You all.
2 hours.
What do you got, John? What do you say about that?
Yeah, there's
You
more
got
stories, right? And I just say that because I have a kid, he's got a kid, and we all got kids.
We all have kids, yes.
Right.
I'm going to
I
all
don't,
of
I
you
don't have
about.
children. That's,
I'm not talking about you, but I'm
oh,
saying a lot of people.
You're not special.
So I say there's if that was in my life, I would say there's got to be some reason, and everybody knows the reason.
Hey, I couldn't believe the system was doing what it was doing at the time it was doing to me. I kept going into shock, wondering how could there be so many
Hey, thanks for
people out to
joining.
hurt my children?
Amanda
Judy.
says she can call
That
in.
was what I kept asking. And I
Hey,
kept
Amanda,
asking,
you wanna call in?
how-
But so, okay, but John,
I want
I'm
Amanda to
gonna
call
ask the people who kidnapped children at that
So, John,
point.
here's the problem.
I didn't
Here's the
know
problem.
It's been all year.
here, let's get to the
You know,
meat and potatoes, as
children of
they say.
resistance.
Let's get to the bottom. Here's the problem. Anytime that there's any issue in your life where you are in a bad situation, or if you're in a negative way, you have to realize, and this is just the bottom line, you might not want to believe it, but
You don't hit those two.
you're doing something wrong.
Hey, the phone number, here's the phone
Let me
number.
explain something to you. I dropped my kids at school. I had my own business, construction company.
Okay,
Okay, I would drop them off at school.
it doesn't
After
matter.
getting them a full cooked
What I'm
breakfast
saying
every
is,
morning.
you might have been doing a lot of things right, but somewhere you're doing something wrong. So what you had to do is,
No, it's not. You know what? If I could reach
if you can't
the
take
phone
it,
right
if you
now,
won't take responsibility for it,
Look,
Good.
Mitch, I'm not gonna say that. But look,
Good.
you gotta really understand that. I wouldn't believe it either if I didn't listen to it, okay? So I understand your skepticism and your ignorance and your
it's not
naivety of the whole
skepticism, it's not
situation.
ignorance. It's the fucking facts,
I
dude.
Looking at the situation.
I've realized any problem I have in my life, it's because I'm doing something wrong. If you can't see that, you need to wake up. That's what I try to tell everybody. And I didn't see it before. But once you do, you realize,
You're wrong, dude. I know how to do things right.
well, apparently not, dude, or you wouldn't be sitting there bitching about your fucking situation, would you? You didn't do it right.
Oh
You did it
my
wrong.
We have another call. We're gonna.
But I told you they kidnapped them.
Yeah, but because of your wife. So what you needed to do, if you were a fucking intelligent person, you go talk to your wife and you say, hey, we are fucking
Amanda,
intelligent, we are
if you don't
humans.
answer,
We
we'll
gotta work this shit out. We're not fucking going this route. And you work it out with the problem. You don't sit there and fight the system. You gotta think with your fucking mind, not with your fucking anger and your fucking grudges.
Never get through it. That's all I can tell you. Have a nice day. Hey, Dave, I'm not talking to this guy now.
Good.
He's gonna take a step because
Well. All right, Amanda, you can go ahead and call back now. The phone line is open.
John
As
is
it-
gone.
As it turns
He
out.
realized he had met his match of bitching. It
As it
seems like that's
turns
what John
out,
likes to do, is bitch a lot.
Guy, yeah.
What happened?
Wow, you missed out.
What happened?
Explain
Sorry.
to John
Literally, guy
that
grabbed the phone and hung up.
was in the wrong.
Yeah, John was
John
yelling
can't
and
understand that
screaming.
sometimes he
Amanda
can be
called
wrong.
him.
Amanda,
Okay.
call back if you want. We,
You can go
we're
back. We're
John.
getting ready to close it up here in just a second.
Or we could call her. Yeah,
Oh, we got
Oh, here we go.
Here we
Okay.
are.
Hello, welcome to Dick Liberty.
Hi, how are you guys?
Good, how are you,
Hey.
Amanda?
Welcome to the show.
Hey.
Uh-huh.
Hey, let me grab my other headphones here so I can hear you guys better.
Okay.
Alright.
All right, go ahead.
So what did you have to add in, Amanda? I missed a part of the call because from Mr. John because I had to use the restroom. But what did you have to add in? What did you want to say about this topic?
I think what he's getting at, and I think he's taking it, and I kind of did this too, like when I first got involved online, the advocates and everything. You want to make it more about, you want to talk about your story, and you want to get your story out there about how you fought, and how you did this, and how you did that, and to get involved with these advocates who, they tell you to fight the system, and you can't fight a system that's bigger than you and has more money than you.
See, that's what I was saying.
I learned this the hard way. But
But why would you be fighting the system to start? You must have done something to cause the system to come to you.
Amanda, let me apologize for Guy's bluntness, first and foremost. He
Why?
means well, but he can come off a little blunt. He means the best
well,
though.
first of all,
He's more or less asking, if you could just.
Nothing that's gonna really worry me. You're getting way too much. But to answer the question, I think in my case, I think most people want to talk about their story. But from my experience with all this is you can't fight the system one that's bigger than you.
Yeah, you said that. That was the exact wording, like you scripted, like that's scripted or something. We already got that part, but so why is the system involved with anybody's situation? If you're doing things right, the system should never even fucking be involved in anything you do. You should never get pulled over by a police officer. You should never be bothered by whatever.
all right, hang on,
No, I'm
let her
saying
answer.
it's so
Let her
simple.
Let
Why?
her answer. Let her answer.
Go ahead, Amanda. Sorry about that.
Okay, well, the system's involved because we allow the system to be involved.
Oh, I'm talking about with you.
We voted in people, and not many people out there
Control.
read their legislation or really know what they're voting for until it's already voted for.
So what are you saying about fighting the system?
Okay.
So I think what Guy wants to know is why your child was taken away at 3 o'clock in the morning. He wants to know was there any is there a story behind that? Like
Well,
was
one
there
of our
access
listeners
to
is
that?
Judy's suggesting that it comes down to a lot of false reporting. Because of false reporting, because of retaliation between disenfranchised spouses and things like that, it becomes an issue. Has it been part of your experience?
What happened with me is really kind of really messed up, and this is where I come in with money talks, is because I was married for 5 years, and we had a child together, and things weren't going so good. He knew I was probably on the verge of divorce. We had talked about filing for divorce. There was a lot of abuse in my relationship. It finally got to the point I said no more. I finally called the cops, and I knew before that night even happened, what would happen if I did. Because I'd already been threatened with it, with money, it's who they knew, it's the county, it's their business, the family business, and all that. My child was taken at 3 o'clock in the morning. There was no CPS, there was no warrant to remove, and there was no issue. The reason they said, and if I showed you the police report, you'd probably laugh, I had a 16-year-old and a 17-year-old in my home, and they put in the report that they were intoxicated and unconscious.
Okay.
So they never called an ambulance, never called the police, never did anything to prove that, and then removed my child. And the next day, while he was out on bond with a domestic assault, he was granted an ex parte because his dad
Go ahead. We got a question from Chris. and then I'm going to touch on some job.
No, Guy and I just
Okay,
picked
John-
it up on the same.
Okay, here we go. Guy and Chris, go ahead. Chris, your first go.
Well, I think it's more or less you said.
The cops came to the house
cops-
because there was something else going on, it sounds
Yeah.
like. Maybe some sort of an assault or something?
What? Why were the police there at 3 o'clock in the morning for a 16 and 17-year-old? Like what?
Okay, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, and I'm going to tell you right now. Because one, it was something I did every week. It was a routine. Every week at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday, I would go pick up my friend's German Shepherd because he drove over the road to the company that was run by my ex-husband's family, so they knew. In the police report, it talks about how Mr. blah, blah, blah met with his buddy, the cop, blah, 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 an hour before the event even took place. They tried to fudge the police report.
Is this?
That's why there's an open
out of
FBI
mind or something?
investigation. The reason they won't move forward on the kidnapping charges is because, one,
This woman.
the judge was out of line by granting an ex parte to somebody with a domestic assault, which is highly illegal. Two, the fact that there was no warrant, no CPS, and three, the fact that there was police involved. They
Okay,
don't want to prosecute.
we have a big issue here.
All right, go ahead, Guy. Guy's got something for you.
Again, we're with another non-kidnapping case. We are talking about something completely different than anything on this topic, right? We're right now. We're going.
You're talking about child trafficking, and that's exactly what's happening with the system.
Yeah,
So
but
what-
that didn't happen in your situation, though, is what Guy is saying.
Yeah.
And your
What does that have to do with
situation,
child trafficking?
and your situation, you and your husband were going through going through a divorce,
No,
and
it does benefit them because I pay child support. On top of the child support,
What does that have to do with child
I have to pay the
trafficking?
buddies that do
you said they
supervised
have money.
visits.
Why do they need $100 from you?
No, man, what does that do with
Well,
child
you know, I
trafficking?
have-
Are you just pulling our chain, or are you for real?
Say that again?
Are you just screwing with us, or are you for serious about this? Because I really can't tell, because this has nothing to do with child trafficking.
It is child trafficking.
Because
Where are your children?
it sounded like there was
today?
all kinds of shit going on in this situation, right? There was like a bunch of stuff going on, right? This was
There-
nothing to do with child
There,
trafficking.
there seemed to be a lot going on.
Amanda, where are your children today?
I have an older daughter, which actually I have grandchildren. I have a 16-year-old, and I have my 8-year-old that I'm fighting
So
for.
you're saying
I
that
made the choice.
you still know where the majority of your children are. So with human trafficking and not knowing where your children are, that's kind of where it's different.
Okay, I guess that's why it wasn't. I guess that's maybe where him and I both maybe misunderstood you. I mean, you're talking about child
Nobody knows what human
trafficking.
trafficking is. Everybody says, oh yeah, the cops are.
So human trafficking, what we're talking about is where the police will or people will
The
come in.
government and the government agencies, the ABC agencies, the alphabet agencies, whatever acronym you want to give them, come in and actually take your children
Yeah,
from
and you never see them
Okay.
again.
If one of you guys wants to send me an email address, I'd be more than happy to send you the police report for the night my child was taken.
Yeah, but have you
We're
seen?
we're not doubting the police reports there. We're not doubting any of that. We're not doubting that.
We're not doubting
Okay,
your
you
story
understand what
whatsoever.
the trafficking means? We didn't say nothing about
They
taking or
took-
kidnapping.
They took my child, and now I have to pay, even though I'm a fit parent, and I have a recording on YouTube with
That's what they
for
got
a
saying. Someone worth $1 million. It depends on how much parents will pay the system to get their kids.
and my child has been around, I can't even tell you how many people she doesn't know. I don't know, like, for 2 years she goes with this guy in his car to and from visits. I don't know who he is. He wasn't certified to the state. He was just a nobody as far as I was concerned.
Okay, I understand that. And I want to take a moment out.
But he got paid by the state to spend time alone with my daughter to bring her to and from.
Well, that's a strange situation you got yourself into, apparently.
Yeah, that is a crappy situation, and like I say, I'm not saying that children and trafficking and that does not occur, because it does. It definitely does. I think that
I think that we just misunderstood exactly.
yeah, I think there was a misunderstanding in the yeah. But I wanted to say thank you, Amanda, for calling and chiming in and following
Thank
and
you.
being a part of the show. It's been awesome. It's been great. I thank you very much. So
Hey, thank you. You guys have a great night.
no worries,
You
you
too.
too. Have a great night. All right, guys. In closing, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna discuss a couple things real quick. I want to touch on some of John's closing comments. We're gonna leave it at this before I pop onto the last story and we roll out. John says these guys are morons, or what? Okay, so they take your kid tomorrow and you never see your kid again, and you pay through the nose in the legal system to try and get your child because you know how safe your child is when with you, and you know how much danger your child is where it is now.
See, what John doesn't understand is the whole problem with this whole world is communication. All John ever had to do is communicate properly, and he would never be in a situation. But he won't, unless he can see that and admit that to himself, he'll always stay pissed off and miserable. But I realized that a while ago. That's when I woke up. I realized I had all kinds of issues, and I realized that every problem I had was my own doing. And then,
Well, I'll agree with that. Does that mean you're awake? Because I'm awake then if I'll
No, I don't
admit that
think
my
you're
problems
awake,
are
no.
my own doing.
I
I mean, that's just called, to me, that's just called being an adult, bro.
No, it's
Well,
way deeper than that.
Listen, Amanda agrees with you on the communication. I happen to agree with you on the communication. The communication is key. We have another viewer who's watching named Kimberly who said child trafficking, noun, the illegal movement of children, typically for the purpose of forced labor or sexual exploitation.
Right, not what these people are talking about.
And we got another comment coming in. John says, you are so naive, young man. I hope you don't make the same mistakes I did marrying the wrong woman, getting the wrong
Well,
woman
that's
pregnant.
great you said that because, see, that's what I've been dealing with for years. But I've learned how to communicate through it instead of letting it ever become an issue to where any service person would ever be involved. I've always said, I will make sure that I fix the situation with her and make sure that my son is happy and that this never would be an issue. And that's why I say this from experience. If somebody was involved in your situation, it's because you allowed it to happen. And that's the facts.
All right, that was the response. And I got one more from Judy before we call it a night here at Dick Liberty. And Judy says the budget for foster care went from 1.7 million to 3.9 million in my county in New York in 1 year. This shows you that it is a lot about the money, not collection of facts. Families are being broken up because facts are not being collected and children are being ripped away from many fit parents.
I'm not saying that's not happening. I don't
Do we
know.
got a response to that guy?
I have no idea about that being true or not. That's what I'm
Thank
saying.
you,
I
Judge.
haven't seen any evidence, and if that is the case, yeah, I have no idea. I have not seen the evidence.
All right.
I keep hearing it.
Okay.
So,
What do you say about that last piece there,
No,
Chris?
I'm on the same page. I mean, Guy and I kind of made the same comment. You know, I'm sure there's plenty of children out there in orphanages and
Orphanariums.
orphanariums and foster homes and everywhere else that are looking for a home that the government can take. So why are they coming to take yours? That's all we have.
somebody had to cause some sort of a phone call. Why was there ever a phone call made to have someone look into your situation?
Well, I will
That's what I wanna
I will
know.
say, just to keep it unbiased and fair, that anybody can make a phone
But
call
why would they?
out of retaliation, out of stupidness,
Right.
out
So
of
you
ego, out of
somehow
anything.
caused a fucking issue to piss someone off to cause them to make a phone call.
Maybe
Don't
not.
piss people off.
Maybe not.
Do what's good. Do what's right. You don't need a fucking 10 Commandments. None of that bullshit. Say, I'm going to keep the people around me happy. No one will ever fucking call a cop on me. No one will ever fucking bother me because they'll all be happy with me. They might be annoyed by me, but none of them will ever want to attack me. And that's the problem is other people won't do that. They say, fuck what that person says. I'm going to get in the biggest fight with them. I'll let them hate me. I'll let them call the cops on me. I'll let them have all this fucking issue. And that's what you cannot
What do you got? What do you got, Chris?
Yeah,
Let's close it
I
out.
was just like, that's because you come off this week and timid. Nobody wants to.
I used to be very angry and pissed off, and I was such an asshole. And I woke up and I realized I was causing all my issues because I was that way.
Well,
I said,
now, real quick, just to touch on that, for all those veterans out there who have PTSD that do get angry for no reason, it is not your fault. I've been there. I was there this morning. Trust me, guys. Anxiety and PTSD can make you angry for no reason. It's not your
Yes, it
fault.
can.
Just
Oh, yes.
Trust me. Hit the blunt. See if it doesn't.
Exactly.
See if it doesn't change your
I'm
mindset.
with you on that.
Because it works every time for me. And I stopped having panic attacks a while ago. I just stay
Oh,
stoned
people get pissed
all the
off.
time.
That's natural.
So guys,
Hey guys, the comments are kicking up, man. I don't think people want us to go just yet. We got one from Feather Vaughn. So is there anybody else besides me, patriots, ready to storm the White House for justice for our children? Elvis said it best. I want less conversation and a whole lot more action.
well, how
Hey,
about?
I agree with you on there. We need a lot more action on a lot of different fronts.
No, I agree. I agree with it as well. And think about it. Think about what's gone on with all the protests we were talking about earlier, and how you can just, if you get a big enough group of people together, you get a big enough movement in the United States that, hey, look
But
at
what's
this.
storming the White House
Hold
going to
on,
do?
hold on, hold on. If you say, hey, make a big enough movement to where, yeah, all these, yeah, what everybody's gonna say is fake news, but whatever. All these news corporations, CNN, Fox, they all have to look at it and go, we can make money by getting viewers. So once
it's
you-
about the
once
likes and the
you-
money.
I can tell you how
Once
you
you
do
get-
this. If anyone wants to listen,
Hold on,
it's way
hold on.
easier.
So once you get that, you get the
Let's
big
work.
attention, then you'll see things change, but you have to make those
They
strides.
want
and
this
those
big attention.
movements.
They want people
And
fighting.
that's what going
That's
to,
all they want
that's
is
what
that.
going to the
It
White
doesn't
House
do
will
shit,
do.
dude. All it is is it
How
shows
do
that
you
people
get
are
that
mad.
forward?
It shows that people are fighting the system. That's what they want. People fighting and people for it. People
I
fighting,
thought you
people
said
for it.
they just wanted people to be little drones and
Right, but
follow
they have
the
to be
system.
fighting each other in order for them to believe that they need the controllers to protect them. So
but if they come together and you and
then all you would do is
come
very
together
simple.
about social issues.
Hey, you know what? And there's a social. I'm glad you said that because there is a social issue that I want to bring up. That you know, Junior, Mr. Hood News, Mr. Hood News Global, he brought it up too. And he's, you know, there's a lot of people that have PTSD and don't even know it, and they've never been in the military
No, that's
because
true.
the streets are tough. The PTSD doesn't just come from the military. As a
No.
matter of fact, PTSD branded you as a weak little bitch in the military. If you went and got treated for PTSD in the military, you were a weak, sorry ass little bitch.
They just
Period,
kicked
point
me
blank.
out. I was gone. They were like, "Oh, you have anxiety? Yeah, you gotta go, bro." But then again, on all fairness, my knees were shot, my shoulders were shot, so it was kind of like third strike, you're out.
Yeah, I get that. But you know what? I gotta say, Mr. Hood News is absolutely right.
No, I
PTSD
agree.
does exist in many different facets. And I think the whole addiction / opioid crisis, I think a lot of it was driven because when you look at it, because it's criminalized, nobody feels confident in the ability to ask for help without being judged. Because
Okay.
addiction is a criminalized society perception versus a mental disability society perception, it creates a lot of drama there.
So I
So
definitely agree with that.
anyway, I gotta say, you guys, it's been a great night. It's been a great show. I really appreciate everybody's been watching, everybody's been listening. I want to say thank you to our guest guy. I want to say thank you to Crazy Chris. I gotta say, you know, we're getting amen, fellas. You know, it's been awesome to have you guys to interact with the comments, to show you everything else. I'm gonna leave you with one story about Soros. I know we've been talking about him. He's been villainized, but you know, I want you to see it because he's been pushed out of Hungary, and I'm gonna write him. Maybe it's not the story that everybody's saying, and if I can get him here, I would love to see it.
Oh, real
So,
quick, y'all.
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, before he does that, my phone is right there, and it's propped up, and I'm reading y'all's comments. I'm not actually
Yeah.
staring at his crotch, y'all. I want y'all to understand that. I realized, I looked at the camera, I looked at the screen and saw myself and was like, oh no!
Cock bobber. Hey, come here, Kimchi. I'm gonna bring up my little. This is my emotional support dog for my PTSD, and she's my little baby. I love her so much. She's awesome. But I want to say thank you guys. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. This is my $1 million enemy. You got anything you want to say in parting there, guy?
I don't think so.
No? Well, thank you for being part of the show. Thank you for interacting. It's been great. Chris, you got anything in closing?
No, be
Mhm.
good, stay fun, have a good one.
Don't believe.
All right, guys. Be good, stay fun, stay true, keep it going. We love you. We mean it. Everybody's been great. It's been awesome. We love all the comments. We love the interaction. We're gonna be coming a lot more at you. We got the new Green Green show coming out. We're gonna be doing a special this Saturday with Dr. Bernard at Bernard Cannabis Center. Want to give a shout out to Dab Day Production at Dab Day 710 for the day in the swamp and the Swamp Gallery out in Gainesville. Want to say love you, Buzz for Pets. You guys are awesome. And, you know, it's just been great. We're living the dream. We love you. We follow us. We mean it. We just, it's awesome. It's awesome. I got nothing else. You guys have a great night. Take care. We love you. We mean it. Bye.